character. So I love seeing a first round pick there for AS. But our first game, locked and loaded. We're back here with the NARAKA Bladepoint Pro League 2025 Spring Split. We do have SR Spider going at it against BBE Frostivus. Frostivus on the Syra, Spider on the Justina. Sends the 1-2-3, big damage there from Spider. Now the catch there from Frostivus only gets a 1-2. And the follow-up LMB focus there from Spider to pick up the first elimination of the night.
Yeah, I mean, Frostbus actually burning the F1 from that Syra very early at the opening engagement against Spider, rather than holding on to it for the longer aspect of that map. 2-5, just feeling out whether or not he wants to try and take a fight against Lipo, but Lipo having that blue armor, though 2-5 picks up purple armor, so that's definitely going to give him bold confidence to potentially try and enter into that 1-versus-1 that Mike and Polaris are currently going out. As Verse reluctant to take a fight with that Grey. Move us up to the top of the birdcage before coming on through with those dual halberds. Looks for the counter, doesn't manage to find the parry. Drops down, charges up the scale rush, cancels it out as PXT was also looking for the counter if that one was committed onto. As it looks like Mike and Lipo have committed into this fight. Mike finding that parry, taking the Syra down low. There's the combo break coming out early. That's going to give a little bit of health back, but Mike still has enough damage with the blue nunchucks to find the chase down. Does he have enough, though, left to be able to take up the fight against T225, who's already invested that Liam F1?
Wow, Mike going straight for that blue armor there. Gets that armor swap quickly. T225 still with a health advantage there with the armor, but the LMB catcher from Mike into the 2-1-1. There goes the big damage off the R&B focus there from the nunchucks. Now the proc comes in off the nunchucks. T225 now it's going to be forced to pop that Liam ultimate. Since the LMB focus cancels with the grapple, still get caught up at the 1-2 into the V2 ball. What's going to be the mix-up here for T225? There goes the follow-up, but no, Mike's going to have the ultimate there to counter it. And there it is, the carpet ride here from Mike. Look at the schmooming there off of that as well. Doing a perfect good job, still applying pressure there to T225, but T225 being able to cut line of sight, but gets clipped off that first. He is going to eat up a little bit of damage there. Still just waiting out for this ultimate to be out. He does call that V2 at a perfect time, sends it, gets the damage there. Now Mike, with no armor, eats the damage off the LMB focus. F called in there for OUG's Mike, and T225 hungry for this elimination. Knows he could try to pick up a quick elimination onto Mike, but Mike not letting go of that gas pedal since the 1-2 off the staff. Mike still continuing to kite as much as he can. It does not look from the minimap that any other players are around right now. Gets caught up once again. We do have another player picking up elimination. It's going to be Burst there, picking up a kill in the kill feed. And Mike, it's going to be very hard to try to catch him. Has one of the best movements, if not the best movement in the game. OUG's Mike on the blue checks. Looks like the reset might come in, but Edward's starting to move on in here for the situation as well.
He saw the purple armor. He saw the purple armor on the ground. He's healed it all the way back up to full. 2-5 will be able to find the elimination, but now here comes Edward. 2-5 was able to grab the Soul Bloom, so he has been able to recover some of that health, but he's incredibly low, and without that purple armor, he's missing a lot of sustain that's available to his opponent. The F1 bash comes on out from the Child. 2-5 already going to be activating one of those staggers. Doesn't get locked into the headlock as he just tries to utilize those nunchucks just the way that Mike was, kiting away from the fight until the Child ultimate is going to be removed potentially, as Edward comes in with the 1-2 on those halberds, catching onto 2-5. This Liam not going to have that ultimate up just yet, doesn't have the opportunity to scoop and send Edward into one of those combo chains. Now gets hit by the headlock into the follow-up, and that's one of the things that you have to worry about with Shaol. Now you don't know when she's going to send that headlock out.
And I love that from Edward, getting inside the mix there and popping that ultimate, not waiting for him to be low, just to secure that elimination. And we saw they're getting the elimination onto T225, but FPSDQ Star against TE Wufong right now. The combos here with the fist blades here from Wufong. Now the Shaya ultimate is going to be popped here from Star. What's going to be mixed up? He's going to wait this out, does not be able to get it. He does catch him off of that. Wufong's going to eat up the damage there from the ult. Now the second weave there from Star, being able to still applying the pressure onto Wufong. He does have the armor advantage right now. Star with no armor right now. He is going to be able to cut the noise now. Looks like Wufong is going to get a quick reset in, as well as Star. The ties have been set just for now, but we do see Wufong going right back into the mix, but Arano and Lipo are still going at it.
Arano looks for the Dragon Slayers, doesn't manage to find it. Potentially gets caught up into that Syra F1 stun, won't be hit out. Now Lipo comes on through with that ultimate. Arano is going to kite out, waiting for the ultimate to be done for committing back on in with his. But through the window, Lipo comes, gets the stun. The F2 from the Justina is going to save them for 3 seconds, but that is not going to outlast this Syra. And Lipo can still commit this chase down. In the meantime, he has been able to get a little bit of his health back, doesn't have the armor healed off though, and he has to kite out of the fight now, understanding that the advantage has gone to Arano's side, given the fact that this Justina is still holding on to that V1 if he wants to commit it into this fight. Wants to try and utilize that purple spear. Charges up the Dragon Slayers, doesn't manage to land it. Finds the Scale Rush though, just before the Syra can just push away from that fight. He knows that Lipo does not have this ultimate. He knows that the Syra is desperately trying to open every single trove possible and find an armor swap, but unfortunately RNG is not on Lipo's side. There's that V1 coming on through to catch Lipo as he crests the top of that roof into the vertical slam down, and Lipo is then packing to that soul altar.
Wow, that was a beautiful dash there from Arano. One thing I saw there was Edward calling in a Moonbane, buying up those Moonbanes here for early on. We do have Star eating up a lot of damage though in between 2 players with Wufong and Edward. And Edward's gonna pick up the elimination here onto Star. Wufong nearly being eliminated as well. He's 1 HP. We can barely see the white health. They are still gonna be fighting for this Roma Yang. Our first Roma Yang gates already down. 23 seconds and counting for these players start going in. We do have Burst giving up this Roma Yang. Edward is going to be one of our first players to enter this, as well as OUG's Mike readying up here on the Lonnie to take the first round. We do have 2 eliminations here on OA Edwards on the Shayo. OUG's Mike with 1, WBG's Verse with 1, WC's Arano with 1, as well as Jella AS, T225, and Wufong and Spider. A lot of players with 1 elimination so far. So the kills are spread out currently here for our first game. The Temi here on Jails AS, not looking very, very stacked on the Jade so far, but he does have the purple nunchucks in hand for him, for his weapon of choice currently. OUG's Mike on the blue fan, waiting this out still. It's gonna wait out till the last second to take the realm, as well as Edward on the blue halberds. Not looking too crazy.
Every single time we're seeing production just check the inventories of these players, I'm looking to see if any one of these players has that red ball points essence. Spider on the outside of that no ult zone is forced to take a fight against Paste on this Volda. Does have that V1, cannot dash into that no ult zone though, or he'll lose it just like he lost that fan to the counter coming on through. The ultimate has to come on out. The knockback is going to secure Spider the opportunity of just dashing into these buildings and getting one of those Vitalias off. The Pace is hot on his trail. Another dash now utilized. Spider's only got the 1 left. He's going to have to keep himself mobile as we head into that first round of Yang fight. Is going to be going up against Mike and Frostovitz. So Syra versus Lani. Who is going to come out on top? So far, no ultimates have been popped. Mike already losing that armor. Gets hit into the 2-1-1 coming off of those nunchucks. The trick ball comes on out. Mike trying to disappearing X behind one of those pillars. Every single time he catches that ball, he is going to start getting a little bit of his HP restored, so he doesn't have to worry about being stuck in that static frame and allowing the Syra to potentially crest around that pillar corner and get the last hit of potential damage. He's looking for the LMB off of the dagger. Doesn't manage to find the uppercut the first time. Will be able to find it the second. Not manages to connect the soul break though, with Frostovitz investing the F1 combo break, and it is a last hit situation. Who's coming out on top? Mike with the dagger is just a little bit faster, and he's going to be able to claim his first Realm of Yang victory of the season.
I'm sorry, I was just looking at the Lonnie ball just knocking up the Syra in the background. He's hiding behind the pillar. It's just so funny. But there it is. Lonnie showcasing there from the OUG's Mike, being very strong in the realm of Yang against the Syra, but SR Spider going at it. We do have our 3 teams currently here with the Vermilion Burst, Mike, OA, Jails, and OUG. But PXC, Pace, catches the limit prior, or PXC, as you said, against Spider. Spider is going to be forced to pop this F, still trying to kite the situation out here with this Calm and Dagger. He's going to specifically use it for movement, but PXC not letting go of the gas pedal with that purple dual blades in hand, trying to see he can find elimination here onto Spider, but it's not going to be easy. Spider doing a very beautiful job kiting around the zone, make sure he does not get caught up, trying to see if he can find a little bit of a moment for him to take a full reset in. Looks like PXC is going to let go of the gas pedal for now, just wait it out, and go ahead and try to collect some more resources to move on in towards the end game. Frost Frostivus now with Yang depletion timer, 3 minutes and 20 seconds to try to cleanse this Yang depletion timer. Is going to see if he can find a player to see if he can do that for himself. But PXC now is going to go out against JL's AS. The Temi now. He's going to send the LB focus. Big parry here for PXC. He does have the after to avoid the full damage. The whisk is thrown down. No problems yet for no players. The double dodge trying to see if he can catch it out. But he overholds the R&B focus there for the damage on to PXC. The gold Hong Sword on PXC is going to hurt though. So he needs to be real careful. Does catch some damage there off the LMB. Now the Scare Rush connects as well. Does not catch the damage off the R&B focus. But Frostivus now in the back end does have the perfect time here to try to cleanse his Yang depletion timer.
Yeah, Frostivus is also going to be approaching this fight with the ultimate. AS is going to be able to re-pick up his legendary Hong Sword, which he lost to Paste, managing to pick it up off of that first parry. Swaps on over to that repeater crossbow. Doesn't want to put himself in that middle player situation because that's the one that both of these players are going to turn on. Because both of these players weren't fighting the Valda previously, it's not Spider. They didn't know that at the beginning of the fight, Paste was down that ultimate. But that V2 is building up incredibly quickly off of the back of every single one of these parries. Frostivus again forced into investing that combo breaker of the F1 to escape the consequences of getting parried. And now they know that it's going to be on cooldown. The Syra becomes the problem that everyone is going to turn on to just because if they apply enough pressure, they're going to be able to force out that ultimate. And both of these two players, the Temi and the Valda, have the means of being able to kite out the fight, disengage, wait for the Syra to be done before turning back on through. Frostivus, unfortunately, does not have the luxury of being able to wait. He's got 1 minute 46 seconds. He can't appear too eager. He didn't take a Realm of Yang fight against either the Valda or the Temi, so they don't know he's hit with Yang depletion currently, and he can't afford to make them aware of that fact because otherwise they'll just time him out and manage to get that last hit before that depletion expires. Wufang now comes on out with the Lani trick ball yet again, making it really awkward to try and get a hold of this player, of this character. Every single time she gets a hit, she gets a little bit of HP all the way back and you get staggered for your issues. And even though we're in a multi-wave fight currently, Wufang is doing a very good job of applying multiple aspects of pressure to every single player around, so they haven't been able to full stack up against this Lani.
Yeah, and I was seeing Mike Brandon right back in the situation. It does not look like another player is around, so he should be good for now, not being mistaken by Fong and Alani that the ultimate has just ran out for him. So it looks like Mike is going to be safe off that situation alone, but Fong still trying to catch Star with 40 seconds remaining here to try to cleanse the Yang depletion timer. The time is ticking. Not really a lot of options here. Star gets a full reset in. The damage connects there off the R&B focus there from the Halberds. He sends the R&B of his own as well. Now he is going to get caught up. It does have the F there to escape that for now. Overholds, gets the damage off the LMB. The F caught in there for the Xiao as well. Since the 1.0 off it is, now the Xiao ultimate is being invested here from Star. Now the Prow here for Star as well. It's going to be big damage off the 1.0 from the Halberds. Big damage, half health here for Wufang. Now it gets recaught as well. That's a lot of damage into the 2-1-1 finisher. And that is what Moxie was saying right there. The terrain was not in his favor there for the grapple bump. So the 2-1-1 there showing out perfectly why that's the new meta.
Yeah, and Star as well, holding on to all of the counter charges coming through from his ultimate. Pace was also able to take out AS off screen. He's not going to be taking Frostivus out off screen. It's 100% going to be in broadcast POV. As we now head into our second Realm of Yang, it's going to be 225 versus SR Spider. Spider already having that longsword in the back pocket is 100% going to be looking to set up that wall carousel variant. Has to just try and force out the combo break coming through from the Liam the first time, but he's the one that loses the weapon. That's the worst possible opportunity. Now he's had to invest both the F2 and that V1 coming through, finds the freeze, doesn't manage to find that toothpick though. Just trying to do everything he can to put the pressure onto this Liam and force on out that ultimate. The grab will be able to come on through, and Spider unfortunately did not have enough HP for 2v5 to even need to combo break off of the back of it. He just gets one little hit of damage and Spider is done as Edward now goes head-to-head with Sheol versus Liam, already utilizing that V1 from the Sheol early. Hasn't sent out the counterattack until just now. Utilizes it to dodge out of the grab attempt coming on through from that V2. And the hunt is on. Just like Sheol in the lore, will she be able to pick up her bounty as the Pillar Scale Rush comes into play?
Wow, beautiful showcasing here from Edward. clearly see he has been putting in that work. The raw uppercut there into the 1-2. The LB focus there from the dagger. Now, he does have to stay safe first. Now, trying to see goodbye sometime to try to get a reset in, but a scare rush here from Edward. Double tap to his back. The F caught in there from Verse once again. Cancels it, tries to catch the last hit. He's 1 HP. Gets caught up off the 1-2, but a nice comeback. No, the Volpine Essence. It was in Edward's hand. He manages to stay alive in that situation. He is going to win this second round of Yang. What a beautiful showcase in here from Edward. Playing it with full confidence with that Jade in his inventory. He's going to snag up a gold staff as well from this realm. Already had a gold fan. Spider with 4 minutes now and counting to try to cleanse the Yang depletion timer. He does have a couple players around him. 2225 and WBG's Verse in the mix. PXT against OUG's Mike going at it right now. Both with gold weapons. LNB Pride here for the Valda. Now here comes a double uppercut into the 1.0 here from the R&B focus. Now he is going to get the damage off the pistol. Mike is going to be forced to pop this ultimate here inside the zone, eating up a lot of damage. The Valda is going to go ahead and respond as well with the ult of their own. But Mike is going to go ahead, showcase a little bit of the Carpet Bride. He is going to try to create a little bit of space. Finds a little armor swap. Purple armor swap. Oh my God. Merry Christmas came early once again. Gets caught up. He does have the Santa hat on, so, you know, it is giving him that buff. But Mike trying to back on up. Nice little tap dodge there from Mike to avoid that catch. He does not get caught up off of this. Baits out the parry in the back end. Arano now showing up for the third party. Gets clip off the R&B though. The fan's still doing a really good job here with the damage. Overholds, does not get the parry there, but the back end Arano there with the R&B focus from the spear, and he's gonna pick up a two-piecer as well. WZ Arano with a beautiful third party here to confirm 2 eliminations for himself.
Oh, Arano as well steals like the Soul Bloom just before the Valda can grab it and utilize that to heal and potentially get the ultimate. With the V2 coming back into play, that Valda would have been a much scarier opponent, even though the shielding has been since nerfed from 2,200 to 1,800 on this current patch. The Spider, unfortunately, gets sent having to wait into that next lobby. A lot of our players already knocked on out. AS, Spider, Wufong, Frostfist, and Lipo, as well as Mike PXT, all going to be waiting for the second game of the day. But already we're starting to see players shifting towards potentially utilizing that Lani in areas of verticality. So we might get to see her when we head over to Holleroff as well. Still, as Edward has been on absolute fire. Something to note, that Voltpoint Essence popping in the second realm of Yang, he took a fight in the first realm of Yang. That means that he didn't have to use it and burn through a fatal strike in his first fight. He was able to win it super cleanly, and you can tell the surprise was there. The Liam, the commitment that came on through. He thought he had the shield dead to rights, so when Edward had that Volpine Essence and was able to use it as his trump card, the surprise factor really allowed him to turn the tide.
Yeah, Edward, previously known as Wang Liang. I mean, Wang Liang has, you know, back in the day was a super strong player. I remember last year, he quite didn't really find his fitting with how everything was playing out, but watching him play right now, you can see how polished he's playing. Beautiful iframes there to avoid the Liam B2 from his Shayo. I mean, it's just straight clean gameplay coming in from Edward right now. Players just gonna wait this out to move on in to our last phase of the first round, our end game. But we do have T225 fully stacked as well, has gold armor and gold fist blades in hand, so he's gonna be applying a lot of damage to whoever he finds a scrap off with. FPHCQ Star does have purple armor, but the only thing is inventory for the weapon selection being purple. It's gonna be a purple pole sword. We do have Verse with a couple of purple weapons as well. It has a dagger in the back pocket. As we know, these players love to use that dagger for movement, just common, but that is the main role of that weapon for a lot of players if they have a better rarity. But it's often to be playing with his blue staff in hand. Arano, gold fan, gold halberds that he picked up there from that third party. He is gonna be fully stacked now, picking up the inventory or the loot from those 2 players that he eliminated. We do have our random Bane being spawned in right now. 50 seconds for that to go away. These players are going to go ahead and wait this out. Our first end game of the spring split about to happen pretty soon. Wow, Lonnie in the mix. Very surprised for sure seeing Lonnie. Like I mentioned, you know, if you're going to test something out, today's the best
the
day.
day.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be seeing a lot of players testing out just to see if anything that they throw against that dartboard is going to be able to stick. Spirit Well, though, is something that these players know. It's become the bread and butter of being able to play those endgames. In your early to mid, you want to be able to win your realm of Yangs. And then when you hit into that endgame, you want to be able to take control of the Spirit Well. You don't ideally want to be the player the first to position into it, though. We saw a lot of success at Jacob with actually the third player to come on through. As we're going to see Stanchion come on out from Verse with that silence effect. TW5, though, has the much better soul jade for the staff in controlling that Spirit Well with the Merciless Havoc. Look at the arm's length that these players are having to keep this blue rarity staff just because they don't want to get hit up into by one of those frames of Merciless Havoc that is going to leave them absolutely at the mercy of all of the rest of these players in this lobby. And yeah, I think it's just going to be a no contest. TW5 has the absolute chance of being able to pick that one up for free, so he's going to go ahead and pop his ulti, because once he's thrown those 2 grabs, he's going to have it back. So a lot of now is going to be the tempo of these players having to react to how this Liam is going to be getting aggressive, and that means the onus is going to be on these Shayols to try and, like we saw in the realm of Yang, utilize their ultimates and iframe out of those grab potentials.
Yeah, as we see, he is getting applied a lot of pressure by TT25 and Verse, and Edward here just got the wrong end of the stick. Did have TT25 quickly aggressing him there with the Liam ultimate. Big parry there from Edward, though, doing everything he can to stay alive in the situation. Does have a gold spear as well in the inventory, doing a really good job now. Swap on over to the fan, try to see if he can kite the situation now, but TT25 in the back end applying a lot of damage, and there it is, the elimination there from TT25 onto Edward. He is going to pick up the remaining loot there from his body, as well as Verse. He's like, get out of here, this is my loot, back up. I work for the kill, this is mine. So he is going to be able to get the remaining of the loot there. And PSGQ Star, though, playing up a little bit more conservative here, playing the top side of the map right now just to wait this out. We do have Arano as well, just jumping around, making sure he can stay up. We do have our next zone starting to close up now. 57 seconds for it to fully close. Our random Bane is still in the air now. T225 trying to still apply some pressure onto Star this time around. We do have him full throttle in here onto Star. Star forced to pop this F here on the Shayo. We do have him trying to kite it out, but T225 looks like he is hungry for another elimination, currently with 3 on the board, and Arano, the one right now with the kill lead with 4 currently for this lobby. Star, he needed up a little bit of damage. He does manage to kite it out. It's going to be a quick reset in for himself, but T225 is still there for the pressure.
He wants to pop the V1. He wants to force the Shaol into having to throw out that ultimate. It's the only Shaol left in the lobby too, so it's going to be very easy to keep a track of. Star almost forced that Shaol to backstep into that Bane's Breath, but Star is able to avoid outside of it. Still has that blue fan in the back pocket too to be able to scare us away from this engagement, but 2-5, he knows he's still got this Mystic Might for just under a minute. He can get as aggressive as he wants, and there's not really a lot anyone else in this lobby can do. Liam is the best hero in these situations. No one is going to want to try and challenge him. Scarish is also going to be able to interrupt Star. This time around, Star is going to give 2-5 a bit of medicine that he has to swallow, but Legendary Spear is going to be doing a lot more damage, and finally the V1 force comes through. Arano is the one who actually gets locked, or rather 2-5 is the one that gets locked up into that headlock. He's got 2 charges left. Star will now look to potentially throw out that next stagger, but there's the aura grab, and 2-5 is going to send him package parceled all the way into that zone to eat the damage, and unfortunately for Star, he's going to get taken down. 2-5 though is not going to be happy that he is not getting the kill credit, as Arano was waiting on the inside of that zone with the bow, saw that the Sheol was getting pressured into, knew the potential that the Liam would be able to find that V2 connection and throw someone into that zone, and he waited. He bided his time for the perfect moment, and now he has to try and figure out which of these Liams committed that ultimate, which one can he try and pressure out.
Do have Rano though going first. The ultimate is going to be invested here from Rano as well. That's the Liam's going to respond with the ult of their own. Do have him trying to wait this out. It's going to be very rough here for the lone Justina. Just trying to come up on top. Damage does go towards his way though, into the freeze as well. He isn't going to be able to weave that V2. But oh my god, the drop down there from the spear is going to eat up a lot of damage. Rano now in big trouble, trying to kite it out to try to see if he can restore that armor. We do have him getting pressured on, but oh my god, he caught the opposing Liam and he threw it at Arano there. Oh my, that is so disrespectful. He got the damage off that. Arano's still getting applied a lot of pressure. We do have the Av invested as well. So now it's full concentration onto the Stina right now with everything on cooldown. Overholds, gets the damage. The F called in there from T225 in the back end. He's still trying to stay alive. Gets another damage off the blue focus there, but now he is going to get caught up by another V2 there in the back end. But a big parry there from T225, but it's going to be Verse with elimination. Now he does catch him there with the V2. Slams down inside the zone. Verse going to get he's going to take a lot of damage here from the zone. We see him with a quarter white health. He is taking a little bit of that armor there. He does see if he can try to find an armor swap. Does manage to find a common one. He sends it, gets the parry off as well. T225 now still has the upper hand, I would say, with a little bit of that gold armor. Eats up the damage off the armor. Be focused now. Both of these players might take a quick reset in, and it's going to be just a little quick little reset. No, Verse going right back in. Does not want him to get that reset in. T225 though gets the last frame damage there off the LMB focus. T225 still trying to kite it out. Overholds to make sure he does not catch the damage off the RB focus there from the Halberds. Now the pistol shot connects there in the back end. Sends it for the third time. Just let him loose off that 1.0s. And it looks like Verse is not respecting it. He is just going to get this damage. Still kind of in and out, but it looks very close. It's up for grabs who takes this first game of the night.
5 looking to find these connections, might be able to kite back to that purple armor that he dropped previously. Uses that skill rush, has to make sure he doesn't go too far into that zone damage. But there it is. Verse manages to find the elimination. It came down to a Liam 1 versus 1. That poor Justina doing everything possible to try and juggle those two opponents, but it's going to be Verse who comes away with the overall victory.
How to get it solved for the upgrades. We do have Spider landing on the tower and Mike as well, and PXC all in this ice area for our second game. We do have Mike snagging up some of the loot here on the Syra on that beautiful skin that he has. WBG's Verse against TE Wufong, the Valda out for Wufong, trying to see if he can find an armor, but eating up some damage there from Verse with the purple armor. Is going to eat up the damage off the LB focus there from the nunchucks. We do have him still trying to kite this out with no armor. Verse though, not letting go. He's trying to see if he can find his elimination off drop. Does have blue fist blades in his hand as well. He's going to eat up the second damage there from the LB focus. Beautiful showcasing here from Wufong, being very conservative here, being very careful to see where he can land this. He's going to come in hot here with a big jump parry, and the F called in here from Verse into the drop down RB, but he is going to call it up there off the F bubbles there from the ball. The prop comes in off the nunchucks into the 1-2, and what a showcasing there from Wufong with his back towards the wall there to pick up the first elimination of game number 2.
Yeah, Verse was doing everything he could to stop Wufong from going and opening those trophies in case he found an armor reset too. So major credit to that Valda for being able to hold strong, anticipating, waiting for the drop down off of that F1 before coming in through with the counterplay of that Valda F2. Frostfist now losing that weapon, has to burn that F1 combo break into the horizontal prio. Starts shredding away this blue armor that AS has available, but the 1-2 from the Halberds into the V2 grab is gonna set on up for the mincing down of the charged RMB, and that is Frostfist does not have the armor nor the health bar to be able to sustain that follow-up damage, as Wufong now not allowed to have the sustain of the V2. Whoever popped that no ult zone, and I'm guessing it was Arano, so he didn't have to worry about shredding down the Valda's 1800 HP shield, is going to be able to walk away the victor of that fight. It's moving over now. It's going to be Mike having to burn his F1 combo break to escape out of the parry that came on out from the Liam, but he's facing
97% here for the ultimate here for Mike to come online, but we have the third party coming in high here from Spider in the back end, the 1-2 off the spear, trying to see if he can turn this fight around, eating up a little bit more damage, almost completely gone off the common armor. PXC though, trying to wait this out. We do have him still applying the pressure there onto Mike. Spider now might be moving on in. We have T225 in the mix as well. Lots of player in this area. The V2 called in, I believe, in the backside. We do have the Sire ultimate now invested here from Mike as well. PXC trying to kite the situation now, but T225 has his eyes onto Mike, and looks like Mike is going to get canceled that ultimate by the no ult zone, and he is going to eat up a lot of damage there in the back end, try to cut it out, but T225 there with the pulsar for the elimination. SR Spider now against PXC. PXC drops very low. LB Pro here for PXC. Shy ultimate invested here for Spider as well. We are going to have the full attention going towards PXC's way into the musket shot there from Spider. Beautiful showcase there to pick up the elimination, but T225 not happy about that and is looking to try to apply the pressure onto Spider.
Yeah, Spider actually cancelled the ultimate out early. Now has to go head-to-head with T225, who has access to his. If he goes outside of that Forbidden Seal, he's going to be able to come on through with it. utilizes that purple pulse sword to start hitting down that scale rush damage. Spider having to activate those frost flies around him, making sure that T25 does not try to follow on through with the pulse sword until he's been able to find those resets. But here comes Arano for that third party, and now it's a matter of who's going to be able to find this elimination onto this low HP Shaiol, and it will be Arano with that vertical swing from that pulse sword when Spider is on that ground, catches that cover, and now Arano can look to chase down T25, who was not able to disengage the situation cleanly. Arano coming in fresh to this fight, still with his ultimate charged on up, throws out the stone form, turns it in the direction so that T25 isn't able to find the parry. As T25 utilized his RMB focus from that fan to buy himself spacing and get an armor powder reset off, and it looks like the two players part ways and decide to prioritize other positions of the map instead.
Edward already with gold halberds in hand into the early game of game number 2, trying to apply the pressure onto Lipo. Lipo does manage to find a common armor swap, I believe. We do have him gonna take a lot of damage off one focus attack there from those gold rarity halberds, but Lipo with purple halberd hung sword in hand, he can try to respond off of this alone. We do have him trying to back out up from the situation, trying to see if he can find some more resources right now with this common armor, trying to get a little upgrade off of that. But Spider moving on in, he might be moving on in and see that common armor in hand with a little bit of a lock-on key just to see and check the health and armor of a player. We do have OUG's Mike though with the common fan in hand. We do have our first Roma Yang starting to form on up here for our second game as well. We do have Edward starting to move on up there onto the Plume Castle gate. Spider, Lipo, and PXC might be contesting the left-hand side. The Moonbane purchased there from Edward again. This is the second time he's doing this for tonight. Spider, though, still with common armor, trying to see if he can find another upgrade as well. Does not want to go in there with a common armor into the Roma Yang. Edward won
his contestant Salvation Podium too. He's got the legendary halberds.
Ooh.
So on Pedori, he was able to get the Volpine Essence, and on Holoroth, he was able to win Salvation Podium. His macro prioritization is on point. He has put himself into the best possible position to be able to win out this first realm of Yang. Moonbane is going to block off one of those entrances entirely, so he doesn't have to worry about contesting it early, and it's potentially going to put more pressure on those other entrances too, forcing out fights from other players, which is going to mean that they're coming into that fight down resources. They might not be down ultimates, but they're going to have to be starting to eat for things like that armor, and Vitalia suppliers Mike has to eat the F1 cooldown. Now gets hit into that Valda bubble. Wufong able to catch the uppercut, and now Mike having to go for the overhold RMB to catch onto that Valda's disengagement. The V2 comes on through. Mike's looking to try and disengage, comes on through with his own V1 and starts looking to shred this Valda's HP down. You might have 1,800 over armor, but Mike has a stun orb that's gonna absolutely blend you into that laser beam. Mike running out of that ultimate though, wasn't able to find the damage that he was looking for to burn the V2 out early. Has to turn his attention to going for self-sustain off of obliterating those dazzle orbs coming on through, and Wufong doesn't have the combo break, invested in aggressively, so now he has no way of escaping the grapple bump into R&B that comes through from Mike, who plays the long game perfectly.
Wow, beautiful scale rush there from OUG's Mike to recash the prio there to close out that fight. But WBG's verse against OA's Edward here in the first Roma Yang. We have a Syra against Alani. Once again, Edward showcasing Alani for us for this second game. Do have getting caught up there off the 1-2 from the dagger. Overholds, gets damage off the 1-2, but now Burst trying to respond off of this as well. Gets the damage off the LMB focus. F called in from Edward to avoid the follow-up soul break damage there from the dagger. Does not catch the prio off the scale rush. Now, there goes the ultimate investment here from Edward. It looks like Burst gonna go ahead and use this time out to take a quick little reset as well. We do have Edward trying to find it. Does manage to catch that first one. Goes into the raw uppercut. The F called in there from the Syra. Recatches, I believe. No, it's the Syra ultimate called in there in the back end. Edward now has to try to see if he can kite the situation out. Gets caught up off of one stun. Now Burst trying to apply as much damage as he can, but looks like the movement there from Edward is just way too beautiful right now. Now being able to catch a lot of damage. I mean, he's pretty much full health right now. Now the ult is gone here from Verse. Both players parry. Edwards getting caught up here off the LB focus there from Verse. F called in from the Lonnie once again. Verse has that F up if he needs it. We do have Woods PXT winning his realm and Yang. This realm going into distance. 35 seconds remain. Gets the damage off the R&B focus. Verse now drops all that armor. Edward still trying to get active here in the backside of the pillar. We do have him trying to see if he can take a quick little reset, but no, it's just a bait. The 1-2 off the dagger sends the R&B focus, gets the damage. F called in once again. It's on cooldown. Verse still hasn't used it. Big parry there from Edward, and the damage is not enough. The F called in there from Verse. The stun there for the follow-up comes a little bit too early, and Edward with a small mistake, but Verse capitalizing off of that with a beautiful showcasing here for our first Roman Yang.
Yeah, Edward forced into burning the combo break on Lonnie because he committed the R&B focus from those halberds, and all his opponent had to do was step into it and parry. And that would have been round. So unfortunately for him, back against the wall, he's forced to go for that option, and it just means the selection into that next staging of that fight does not go to his favor, and now he's going to be saddled with that Yang depletion. Will not be down though, that legendary weapon that he was able to pick up. As Star manages to catch on to Spider, interrupting before Spider can make a play of going for that no ult zone potentially. PST also just showed up on that right-hand side, so we do know he's going to be in the area. As a lot of these players with Yang depletion start patrolling that map, trying to figure out who is going to be the best target to prey on, and everyone who's not in that position hides themselves very much out of LOS because they don't want to be turned on to. TD25 looking to vulture on the sidelines of this fight comes and prove this Salt Smolder, just looking to apply some of that fire tick burn and start making sure that these players finding those reset windows are not going to be able to have as much of a reset as they want. The F2 already being burned on out from this Lonnie. TD25 goes for the clank against PST, throws out the R&B, overholds, doesn't go for the second commitment, is trying to get the mind games against this Liam. Now comes that V1 carpet ride, very much in full swing as TD25 gets to continue applying this pressure. Every single time that trick ball is able to find his target, he's going to be able to get a little bit of sustain, but can he find the Soulblum? Yes, he can! He manages to intercept before Arana can steal it out, and TD25 now with the fan in his back pocket goes into disengagement, gets clipped before he can try and back away from the building, but does still manage to back on off regardless.
Wow, beautiful showcasing there from TT25. Now the ultimate is so cute. She's just like doing so much damage just in the chillest way possible. It's so funny. But Arano going at it against Spurs. We have another player in the mix as well. And we had 4 players with the aim depletion timer there off of that Roman Yang. We had a timeout, so this mid game is very active right now as we see. Nice weave there from Verse to avoid the after from the Akko's first pounce does connect it for Arano off the first leap. Mike in the middle of the zone, trying to take a full reset in, but Arano catches Verse once again. There goes the V2 damage there into the follow-up. The F caught in from the siren in the back end, and everybody's showcasing here. It's a battle royale. That's where we're at right now. Big V2 once again there from Rodder onto Edward. We do have a Liam ultimate out in the back end as well. The Lonnie's in the back end eating up a lot of damage, but Arano now has to try to escape with 1 minute and 50 seconds. The ultimate is gone. Needs to take a quick little reset and try to go right back in. PXT as well, topping off that armor. Mike now in the mix. Arano now getting caught up by there from Edward. Edward in the backside trying to see he can find something for himself with 1 minute and 25. We do have the gold halberds in hand for him here. Left caught in. The ultimate invested as well. We're gonna have to wait and see what he can do with this. Catches the first one there off the V2. He is gonna manage to back up the pressure just for the time being. Frosted is in the backside, trying to lay down some damage there with the cannon as we see him repair it. Arano now loses a lot of HP in the back end. Big parry there from Arano onto T225. He's gonna cancel into the LB focus. Drops the purple armor in the backside. We do have all these players still fighting very close to each other. T225 drops very low. Arano getting caught up in the back end. LB here from Edward in the backside. Does not get the full damage there. Just so much congestion of enemies here being pulled. Though Frostivus there with the cannon shot. Picks the elimination onto Arano. And now it's a big brawl once again. The slap here for Edward doesn't even matter. T225 there with the Lonnie kill there onto Edward. And it looks like everybody's going to scatter it out now.
I mean, soul blooms have been picked up, bodies have been dropped, Yang depletion cured. Everyone scatters off into their own separate directions. to prioritize this next area of the map because we're going to be having the second realm of Yangs spawning on up, and we're down to already 6 players in this lobby. This has been crazy aggressive. I don't think we're even going to see an end game close. It's going to be determined in the next couple of moments. That Akos, we could unfortunately see it from Arano's POV, just struggle so much into those multi-wave fights, and it was just an absolute uproar. So much CC being thrown out, Lonnie trick balls being thrown out left, right, and center. Justina freezes in the mix as well. As the star on that Justina takes to the skies, Mike holds his ground, goes for the bow shot before hopping on over to that dagger, threatening the LMB, commits onto it. As Justina still holding onto that F2, Star throwing out the RMB, turning it away though, just utilizing it for spacing currently. As Mike now tries to get aggressive, out comes the bow again, just starting to chip away every single time this Justina looks to disengage, trying to put the pressure onto Star, finds the parry that he's looking for. No! Wait till we get to see the suplex come through from Mike with the dagger, and now Star back against the wall. The invisible wall has no choice but to look for a scale rush disengage off of that pillar, finds the freeze from the F1, buys himself 1 reset, but Mike is still quick, has the phantom step as well to close up that distance and give himself an additional iframe every single time he looks for those dodges. He gets to lead into the 1-2. The F2 going to be cancelled early, but Mike is still on top of the matter and will be able to take the Justina down.
Wow, pride's fall for Mike. Follow-up R&B focus there onto PXC there from Verse. But Mike running prize fall. I mean, we know how hard it is to land a prize fall. So I'm not going to do what I usually do whenever a prize fall hits, because just out of respect to you, Moxie, I just yell on the mic whenever a prize fall connects. But yeah, love prize fall. Very, very rare to see, especially in the Pro League. But OUG's Mike now with the advantage here, coming out the realm of Yang with the White Tiger's prowess. Does have the gold halberds, gold armor currently right now. Applying lots of pressure onto PXC to be able to dodge. Let me focus there. Beautiful double tap dodges there from Mike. Now, a lot of damage still going towards PXC way. Both players parried in the backside. Liam Ultimate invested from PXC. We do have Verse now showing up to the party with a gold pole sword in hand, so we know how hard that scare rushes there off the pole sword are going to be, even after the nerf that happened a couple months ago. It's still a very, very beautiful weapon to have for the scare rushes. We do have PXC now using one of those V2s. I do believe he does catch Verse in the backside. There goes the sling out there from the ball. We do have him now getting a lot of pressure from both players this time around. We do have the ultimate ran out 4 minutes and 22 seconds and counting for him to try to cleanse the Yen depletion timer, but it's looking very rough for him, trying to kite out as best as he can. Third player showing up as well on the backside. Mike, the first one on the scene. Star falling right behind as well. We do have him swapping on over to a gray armor. The 1-2 off the gold spear in the backside. A follow hit there for the pulsar there for Verse. Just so much damage, and the RB focus there from the gold spear from Mike to pick elimination onto PXC, and that brings down our counter there to 5 players, and Star still with Yen depletion timer on his back. 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Does has the Justina ultimate to try to see if he can make that happen, but Frostivus cutting noise here. So with 3 kills on the board, I feel like we haven't really seen much of Frostivus, but he's been putting in that work here for game number 2.
Yeah, Frost and TU5, both playing the patient game currently. They're waiting out those buffs to be done, and also waiting for those players with Yang depletion who are desperately trying to seek out a fight to have completed it. Star might check that invis push. No. Goes right past it, but T25 has revealed himself, and he reveals Frostivus as well. It's like, okay, we're going to take a fight. It's going to be all 3 of us involved. I'm not going to allow Frostivus to go on checks and potentially third party on in. So the pressure has forced Frostivus away. Now it's going to be a 1 versus 1. T25 and Star not pulling that punches. T25 already investing that Lonnie V1 though. Star still holds on to his. F2 is going to be utilized. T25 waits out the 3-second timer before Star pops on in with his V1. Looks for the connection of the vertical R&B on that longsword, doesn't manage to find it, but the Lonnie V1 is now over, and Star can look to make his move, but here comes Frostivus, who's back in on that fight. He's waited for the ultimates to be done before he's the one in control. F1 dash connects onto T25, sends up into that charged vertical follow-up from that longsword. Musket shot doesn't connect though, as Frostivus caught in the middle. Looked like he was a little bit unsure of who he wanted to turn on to, whether it was going to be Star or the low health T25. backs on off of the fight entirely, and that is the last thing that Star needs to happen. He needs this fight to continue. You cannot allow these players to disengage away from him, otherwise he is out of this lobby. The buffs from winning the Realm of Yang fight are over, but that Realm of Yang depletion is going to continue until Star is either cleansed with a soul blend that he's able to find off of a player's dropped body, or he's sent out of the lobby. Mike, though, on the prowl, has those dual blades, closes up the distance. Frostiverse forced into burning out that Xiao V2 as well, rather V1. Going to be coming on out incredibly early, so every single time that Mike finds a stagger, that is going to be potentially Frostiverse getting that headlock and keeping these players off of the chase down.
Yeah, and that's Star's ideal situation now unfolding right in front of his eyes. Having Frostiverse pop that ultimate gave Star a better chance here to try to cleanse his Yang depletion timer. Super unfortunate there for Frostiverse that he was forced to pop that ultimate, but now Star trying to wait this out. I
don't think Star saw it though.
Oh. That's unfortunate because Frostiverse now is getting full looked at by both of these players. So if Star has a chance, it'll be right now with a minute and counting. Do see a lot of damage now going towards his way. Might eat up a little bit of damage there as well on the backside. Verse though, trying to see if he can find some sorts of damage, but Star still in the mix here on the Justina. Trying to see if he can find the perfect opportunity. There it is, the perfect drop down there. And we do have him getting very low there against Frostiverse. So Frostiverse going very low. Now Star with 35 seconds to count. This could be a very close one. Catches the LB, tries to go for the area of focus. Does not connect off of this with a massive parry there. He does connect off the sap as well. The cleanse does come into play, and there it is, Star with the perfect opportunity unfolding in front of his eyes, making the best of it. Does manage to cleanse, and now he's right back into this game.
And he's got his ultimate too off of that soul blend pickup. So even if he'd been pressured, he would have been able to disengage. However, these players had not been fighting Star previously. Remember, it was only 2-5 and Frostiverse who had been fighting Star previously. They're the only ones who knew that the V1 had been burned earlier. Otherwise, Star would 100% have been the player that everybody went after. When that Justina does not have those ultimates, does not have that mobility option, she is very easy to be able to take down. And you do not want a Justina in the mix of endgame fights because she is ideal for those third parties. As Mike prioritizes positioning into the Spirit Well, wants to be able to cap it on out. Those legendary dual blades are going to be speaking a lot of strong words. As T5's health bar is getting absolutely melted. Okay, we've got Prideful on the field for Mike, and we've got Assassin's Lunge on the field for T5. Which Dagger Soldier is going to be able to come out on top? Lani is investing the ultimate. Mike also investing the ultimate. Both of these players gambling big. They need to be able to secure the buff if they want these ultimates to secure themselves a second cycle. And Verse is now showing up to the mix, gate crashing the party and turning it into a full ballroom blitz. The ultimates are going to be done. Mike finds a parry. 2-5 going lower and lower. Assassin's Lunge actually called in not for the damage but for a disengagement option as Mike gets an armor reset on through with one of those powders, looks for the parry, finds it onto Star, forces the Justina F2, puts himself onto the rooftop, potentially looking for the drop down as T5 comes back into the fight, this time showcasing that Aurora Burst on the Hong Sword, and now these players absolutely cannot allow him to charge that one on up over the Spirit Well, otherwise they're going to be hit by that silence effect coming on through. T5 again gets that charge up, and Mike has to burn the F1 to dodge away from the silence impact. Spirit Well wall drops. Remember, if it isn't capped within 180 seconds of spawning, this one goes away regardless of the players around it, but these ultimates are being committed like these players already have the buff.
It's just a full brawl right now. Everybody fighting for this Spirit Well. We do have a quick reset in the backside, but Mike being the center of attention since the start of this. Random movement, just a little bit left of the Spirit Well. Gets the damage off the RB focus there from the Dual Blades. Big damage down to T225. Now the ultimate is going to be invested here from T225 once again. Trying to see if you can get the elimination onto Mike. And there it is. Trying to see if you can catch the damage off this one. Does not catch off the second one. He's just moving around. He's moving right now. Doesn't catch the ball hit as well. No, he does. The backhand does connect there in the backside there onto onto Mike. We do have him re-grappling or re-juggling him there in the backside. Star as well getting hit by one of those. Big pair there in the backside. Mike now trying to stay alive in the situation with the Syra ultimate now invested. Star in the middle of the spirit well, eating up a lot of damage. F caught in there for the Justina. T225 still in the mix. Mike is going to be able to get a little bit of HP back there from this ultimate. T225 scanner on out. Mike knows he needs to see if he can try to stay up, but the move blade just spawns right on top of him here. That's a lot of damage, but I don't believe anybody saw. T225 probably did see. Yeah, he's still applying the pressure onto Mike, but we have burst there, cutting out some of that pressure off of Mike there from T225. Mike now getting aggressed on by the Justina. Star does not connect off that first dash. Catches the prior off the LMB there. The 1-2 off the halberds. Tries to weave around. Does not catch the enchantment there off the F though, but Mike now with a quick combat armor swap. Big damage there off the R&B focus. Dash does not freeze once again. Star now drops very low. It looks like it's going to be a quick little reset for both of these players. Mike re-picking up his gold armor. T225 drops very low. Another Syro ultimate being invested there on the backside. T225 getting stunned there in the backside. And Mike going right back in. We do have the damage going towards T225's way. Eats up the damage off the beam there. That's a lot of damage. And the backside is going to be Burst with elimination. Burst managed to get the Soul Bloom as well. Gets some of that HP back. Star and Mike both fighting for the loot in the backside. Mike just applying a lot of pressure here in this situation. Currently with 3 eliminations on the board. WBG Spider with 4. FPSQ Star with 2. And this is our last fights of game number 2. And the pace has not slowed down here, Foxy. It's just a crazy brawl happening here for our second game of the day.
Yeah, there is to be noted that Star was able to secure that spirit well and grab himself that white Tiger's Press as well as the second rotation of that Justina V1. The dashes have already been utilized though, as he's looking to shock down WBG's burst. The Siren not having access to that V1. Mike all the happier to just sit on the sidelines, wait for these players to burn themselves out of those abilities and potentially coming through with that third party, as we do know that he still has access to his ultimate. As Sara's getting clipped by these skill rushes coming on through from the Syra off of those walls from the outsides of this building, and Mike now sees that Verus is low, sees that the F1 has been invested from the Syra, knows that it's his moment to strike, comes on through with those dual blades, looking for the R&B focus to be able to connect, and will be able to find the damage into claiming up that elimination, and now becomes a 1 versus 1. Mike with the Phantom Step, with the R&B on the legendary dual blades, trying to apply that Storm Strike damage onto this Justina as well. Every single time he goes for one of those dodges, already the F2 is going to be forced tonight, but Mike doesn't have access to his F1. Will be able to escape, trying to fight that last little chip to force out this ultimate potentially from the side of Star. Looks for the grapple kick coming through the Justino. V1 now called into play, but Mike has access to his own ultimate, and he's going to chase Star down, but Star having access to that legendary armor reset because he'd been the one to cap out that spirit well, is thrown a second lifeline, and Mike now sees that window of opportunity has been slammed shut by the armor reset. Has to instead spam out those dazzle orbs to heal himself back up to full before this fight begins anew. Both of these players can have access to those combo breaks, but neither having access to the ultimates. Star comes on through with the tempo change up into the fist blades. The F2 forced out early. Mike with the R&B from those dual blades, turning its attention into the 1-2 now, chasing on down with that Phantom Step before Star can rush away from the awning of that building. And now it's going to be overhauled central. Mike finds the parry onto Star, showcasing the soldier that he had in the back pocket, goes for the grapple bump kick, but the Justina's got the F2 back into the play, and Mike now with the jump down, looks to find that vertical, but will not be able to find it as he comes on through with the chase down. F1 looking to minimize the distance that the Justina has access to, and spacing, and Storm Stride, and the light attack will finally close out an absolute crazy, not lost zone, but second to last circle that we got to see that just went on and on and on. The rip from one of those troves, because remember, in a Mortal War, legendary weapons do not drop off of troves. The only way that you're going to be able to get your hands on those is going to be from things like your Realm of Yangs. As we're going to be having a look to see whether or not that action is going to be kicking things off immediately, as there's like 5 seconds where everyone loots through those troves, picks themselves up some staple gear, and then goes in for those 1 versus 1s and potentially third-party opportunities as well. Wufong and Verse both checking to see whether or not one of them's going to commit to that skill rush, and then deciding to prioritize looting up a little bit further afield as Mike is already down. The R&B from those halberds mincing that health that the Volta just did not have access to be able to sustain past without that loot early on in this game. And now Pace losing those halberds to a parry coming in through from Spider with the staff, already having to burn out that F1 combo break too, before Pace could potentially look for that 2-1-1 Chief combo. There's the grapple kick into the R&B focus coming on out. Spider with a great armor reset off of that trove is not going to be able to find the win as PXT comes on through with the chase down off those halberds. The reach that this weapon gets before you can disengage it safely is insane.
And PXT just reading everything Spider threw at him. Spider had not the greatest game for game number 2. Now, only one life remaining into game number 3. We do have WBG's verse, though, against TE Wufong. Wufong taking those early fights once again. We did see him with success in our second game, but now seeing him be able to do it once again here on the Cyro verse, applying lots of pressure here on the Valda. 84% here for this ultimate, so he is going to be getting that online pretty quickly, but the Cyro as well. A big parry there for Wufong to verse. Since the R&B focus, F caught in there into the insta prior off the nunchucks. The F caught in for the Cyro into the drop down R&B as well. Into the grapple, tries to catch the tap dodge, does not manage to do so. Canceling the grapples now. Verse on the back foot, trying to see if he can kite this situation now. Does have the Volta ultimate online now, and the Cyro ultimate being invested here for Wufong as well. Trying to avoid all the dazzles that he can if possible. Gets clipped on the outside or on the inside of this hut though. Does manage to go through the window, so the damage is not going to go towards Wufong's way just yet. Versus ultimate does run out. Wufong though as well, but does have the health advantage there with the armor pretty much full. He is going to still apply the pressure there on the backside. Might still showing back up. He is in the backside. Respawns close through to this area. Burst now catches the power once again. F called in. Drop down clink there for both players. Aerial R&B there for the stat to get some damage onto Verse. Verse now still trying to find the most damage possible. Scare rushes connect. The F called in there. The combo breaker does manage to escape for that situation. But Wufong now on the front end trying to see if he can find elimination. Massive parry there, and that's all he needed into the jump LB finisher. Wufong there picking elimination onto Verse, showing up here for this third game of the day.
Yeah, Verse trying to condition Wufong into expecting the overhold. He overheld the first time and then released early on the second, but Wufong still able to find the parry and take the nunchucks and the vault down. Yes, now over the top of that rooftop, potentially looking for a drop down. Will repair the nunchucks before the fight begins. Now looks for the drop down directly on top of Arana's head, having to utilize that shield F1. So combo breaker is off the table now, but he doesn't need it as he finds the counter. This time around, it's going to be the combo break from the Cyro side. As we do have a third party attempt coming on through. 1, 2, 3 gets sent down from Arana. Risky plays indeed, but he's still able to find the elimination. Now he's got caught up into a 1 versus 1 against Wufong with those dual blades. He gets to turn that charged R&B before Arana can look for that parry, getting to mince on through the health bar. But here comes Mike fresh up of the Soul Altar, finds a parry into the charged vertical from that longsword, and just tries to chase down Wufong. If he can either get the Cyro to pop that ultimate and then disengage, or potentially put the threat down and start looting through that body, he might be able to make a return in terms of the loot that he's missing, as no way did he just nip into a building and find a purple armor. That's insane.
This is the second time he does it in 2 games. I mean, he's just ready for him. He just knows something we don't know. But I mean, Mike always, since the beginning of me watching Mike play, he's always has those armor swaps memorized. I mean, it's just I don't know, stapled into his brain every time he sees one. He knows those locations time and time again. As we see it here, he does manage to find that purple armor there inside that hub. But Frostivus might be going against FPS ZQ Star. We do have our first Roman Yang starting to form up here for our third game of the day. Now on the Liam, Frostivus on the first pick here for the group. He is gonna be able to have that upper hand there with the strongest character in the game. I would say, I mean, every player in the Pro League is using that as their first pick, so this has to be his pop-off game. Wufong posted up with the Rondo there in the middle. Rama Yang Gate, PXT, OUG's Mike, and AS might be going to that top left one. We do have Frostfist Lightput once again on the left-hand side. Spider and T225 on the bottom hand side of the map. Star might be contesting that top-hand side as well for the realm. We do have Mike now trying to scatter out from here, starting to position into the Rama Yang. And this is the first game we get here with Mike on Shayo. We're gonna have to wait and see how he does in the realm. Does have blue dual blades in hand. It's just fully blue inventory there for the weapons. Sojays do not look anything out of the ordinary. That's super stacked there for Spider. Burst on the Valda this time around. About to have that ult online with the blue dual blades. Lipo in the backside. Looks like he might be giving up this Roman Yang. Just going to wait this out. Might apply some pressure in a little bit. But Burst ready to take this Roman Yang. We are going to have probably some aggression from both of these players. Going to kite out the situation here. Wait this out. Now, Lipo does have the armor advantage here. Not sure if he's going to want to apply the pressure onto Burst. He's trying to see if he can get inside the round. But there it is. The pressure, as soon as I talk about it, there it is. Both players going right at it. Quick prowl there from Burst. F caught in there for Lipo. It has to try to retreat from the situation. 16 seconds there for the F to come back online. 15 seconds for the realm to open up. So it looks like he might be getting that realm for himself. T225 and Spider going out. It looks like both of these players are fairly even with the health. But Edward on the top side with the ballista. Trying to see get some damage here on to T225. Does manage to get a quick little reset in. And these players trying to cut line of sight. Spider's going to eat up the damage off that first one. The second one does not connect. And Spider, T225 was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm going inside this realm. Spider, have fun with that.
Oh my goodness, Edward channeling his inner Shah and sets on that ballista. Rains a day on T225's parade. Realm of Yang entry denied. Mike now takes the 1 versus 1 against Wufong. Wufong in the past has been able to keep up to Mike's level inside these 1v1s, but already that Syra, the F1 burst, but Mike actually goes into the stun dazzle. Looks for the scale rush, finds the connection again, keeps up this pressure, has already eaten through all of that armor that Wufong was able to heal back on up with that F1 explosion. Still holds on to this ultimate too. Just constantly forces Wufong to go from pillar to pillar, waits on the low ground with the R&B to be able to catch on to him as well. Another combo breaker has been forced from the Syra. The ultimate now is going to be forced, but Mike isn't able to back around the pillar in time, gets hit into the stun dazzle, into that laser beam follow through. The scale rush will be able to connect onto the Syra, buys Mike a little bit of time, but without that wave roll coming through, the stamina bar is getting lower and lower and lower, and Mike runs out of bar to be able to keep rolling out of those stuns. Now the V1 comes into play, looks for the drop down, potentially goes for that scale rush again to keep up the pressure. We've got 40 seconds left on the clock, and Mike has not been staggered yet to activate into that counter.
Whoa, catches LMB prior off of that, and it's just a kiting game, right? Once the ultimates come online, these players are trying to take as least damage as possible, as we see Fong trying to back on up from the situation, but Mike, just with full confidence right now with his Shaya ultimate still online. It is about to run out, so both players are going to be going right back into this fight with no ultimate online, but the F caught in there for the Syra, does not catch the damage on the backside. Fong drops a lot of health there. Since the LMB folks in the backside, 9 seconds of counting, Mike trying to stay up, massive tapped off parry there for Wufong, and the damage is there, and Wufong coming on top here in this Roman Yang, and Mike is gonna have that Yang depletion timer, and that was a buzzer beater there for Wufong. Manages to cast elimination there onto Mike. He's gonna be able to secure the gold pole sorters in hand, as well as the Vermilion's Burst Might buff with a nice little upgrade on their armor as well. What a showcasing there from TE's Wufong, staying composed there in that situation, having to invest that ultimate fairly early, but still coming on the top there against Mike. We do have Wolves and FPSZQ both with the buff as well, so we're gonna have to wait and see how the aggression go towards all these players. YZGT225 though back in the mix has a Yang depletion timer with 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Mike in the backside as well. Both of these players might be going against each other if they see themselves. We do have Burst with the Yang depletion timer for the third pick there. We do have a bounty from Ronald to Wufong. We're gonna have to wait and see how this is gonna go here for Mike. Still trying to snag up a little more resources. He doesn't have the greatest weapon rarity as well. So now Spider and this in here with Shayol, just gonna wait and see and try to aggress his bounty, and it's gonna be Lipo on the backside trying to hide in the bush, but he has a UAV on him. He's not gonna be able to stay hidden for that long. We do have him starting to retreat now. T225 now catches a player, and it's gonna be TE Wufong. Wufong winning this Roman Yang, has the Vermilion's Burst Might, so he can get as much as aggressive as he wants. He gets the aerial R&B there for the extra damage, catches the LB as well. T225 drops very low, has to invest 2 dashes, 1 dash remaining here for T225. Ronald already catching on up. Wufong as well on the backside. Might be running
out
into
of the frying pan into the fire. See, look at the height of action that T225 has dashed to. Every single player almost in this lobby is currently outside Temple. This is not good for T225, who is down that ultimate. These players saw him come in with that ultimate too, so he instantly has to swap on over to Dagger and look to disengage the situation, cut the noise, players, then drop down a couple of levels before those players can scout out that Justina's full positioners. Mike, in the meantime, is getting hounded down by Lipo, who is currently mid-Lanny ultimate. And Mike, actually, I think, is getting caught between two Lannys. At the moment, every single time he gets hops up, there's just a trick ball immediately batting him back down as Lipo with the overhold on the LMB. Mike does get staggered, so he's able to throw out one of those tortoise blocks. Will be able to connect the headlock 2 onto that Lani, but unfortunately for him, the verticality on the clips meant he wasn't able to translate it into a combo string, and he hasn't found the opening that he's looking for with less than 2 minutes left.
Wow. Big break there from Mike. Oh my god, that was beautiful play there from Mike. Catches the Soul Bloom as well. Catches the second stagger there off the ult. Now Burst drops very low. No armor left here for Burst. Mike, knowing that player was hiding. Big prayer here for Mike as well. Overholds LMB focus. F caught in there for the ball. Now the ultimate invested here for Burst as well. Now Mike in the kiting game. Now trying to wait out this ultimate to go to completely be dispersed for himself. Looks like Mike is going to be able to pick up a little bit of resources there from the opposing body. Burst still has 1:15. Proud there from Mike. He's going to be able to weave that F there from the ultimate and Burst. Now it's going to go ahead and pick up a common armor swap to continue this fight here against Mike. Sends the damage, gets the damage off the LMB focus there to try to even out the fight. But Mike now with the RB focus, dagger in hand, purple dagger here for Mike. Overholds, gets the 1-2. Crouch cancels that to avoid getting parried. Both players parried this time around. And Burst eating up a lot of damage. F called in once again. Massive parry there for Burst. Mike eats up all that damage there from the LMB focus. Now the Burst can turn this fight around. Has the health advantage, but no, he loses a lot of HP there. Purple common armor gone. Mike now invests in the Shy ultimate. This is looking bad for here for Burst. Into the 1-2 raw uppercut there from Mike. And he's going to come on top here with another elimination on the board. And it's going to be his second one of game number 3.
Yeah, Burst not able to cleanse the Yang depletion. Neither was T2-5. He gets unfortunately sent out of the lobby by that debuff. Detonating. There's Mike with a tempo change up. Like, he's such a smart player, like you said. He's incredibly flexible with his hero pool. He can utilize every single weapon in the pool to its utmost lethal degree, but also his understanding to essentially just backtrack. He baits the player. He's like, okay, I've used my ultimate. I'm going to be vulnerable. You're going to try and chase me down, but you're low, so you're not going to be able to full commit. I'm going to take a fight against a player, wait for you to think that you have a third-party potential, so you're going to stick in the area and look for a reset nearby so then you can keep a read on what ultimates are being used, and then just backtracks immediately to get that catch before still having the ultimate up in play and getting the kill onto Verse, forcing that Valor into burning the ultimate just as his own V1 was about to expire, which was absolutely crucial. There is a reason he's a world champion and has been so dominant in the esports scene for as long as he has. As Spider, another one of our previous world champions, also been incredibly dominant inside the MPPL and on that world stage. Can he find the same level of play this time around, though, as he's already starting things off strong? The 1-2 into that RMB focus from those halberds, already forcing out so much pressure onto PXT on the Syra. The combo breaker has been burned. The F1 now comes on through from the Shadow to keep up that aggression as he looks for the RMB, finds the purple focus. PXT forced a backstep on out, goes for that bow swap, looking to make sure that the Shadow doesn't have a full health bar when she looks for that Pillar Tech activation. And now here comes the Syra ultimate. This is the danger zone that Spider has to be able to sustain through. He's playing the Pillar perfectly. He's avoiding every single stun devil coming on out, but his stamina bar is burned, and now he has to hope that he can survive the duration as PXT is about to be out of his ultimate and vulnerable himself.
Wow, does get clipped off the LMB focus, though. We do have Spider trying to turn this fight around. PXT does manage to kite out some of the pressure for now, trying to scare rush around these pillars. Do have Spider on the backside, popping one powder rain, massive shit parry there for Spider, and that's going to be the last hit. No, still has F invested there for PXT to stay alive in the situation. The falling damage there from LMB was not enough, but the 1-2 there from Spider to pick an elimination there onto PXT with that gold dagger, just doing a lot of damage off of that alone. Gold armor this time around with gold dual blades off the box. So nice little upgrade here for SR Spider, being able to get that Rumble Yang win plus the White Tiger's prowess from TE's Wu Fong, winning his Rumble Yang. We're gonna have to wait and see who has the Yang depletion timer currently right now. WZ Ronald being one of them with the gold pulse sword in hand, being able to win the first round but not the second one. We do have him now with this timer on his back. Needs to see he can try to turn this fight around, turn the game around, I should say. At PSDQ star though, in the mixed Frost Frosted is in the backside as well. Lots of players here. We do have 3 players, as well as AS. Arano trying to get some information off the bell, I believe. 4 minutes and 38 seconds. Time is ticking. Can chill for around 30 seconds, but he has to try to see if he can try to get elimination pretty soon. Now, Wolves PXT being another one with our Yang depletion timer on the Syra. Does have purple halberds in hand. Looks like he's spawned in a little bit further away from the bunch. They're on the complete opposite side of the map currently. So PXT is going to have to run a marathon here to try to find someone. Trying to see if he can find someone at the outskirts of the map. But it looks like the whole lobby here is on this area of the map. We do have Arano seeing if he can find an opening for himself. Does not want to be the center of attention. F called in there, probably accidental there from Arano. In just a matter of time, we're going to start seeing some aggression happening, especially with Arano with that Yang depletion timer on his back.
Yeah, Arano gonna have to be waiting another 19 seconds for his combo breaker to come online. Just goes for the ledge hang so that he can be out of sight, out of mind. As outside eventide, it's gonna be OUG's Mike on the outsides of this fight with that repeating crossbow, just trying to stir the pot and see who exactly is gonna be committing into this fight. Players with Yang depletion definitely going to be hoping that it breaks on out. Everybody else, you can see having things like the fan, the dagger in the back pocket so that they can keep themselves as mobile as possible, not tied down, so that when a fight breaks out, they're not the ones that are being forced into using everything just to keep their head above the water to stay in this lobby. In the meantime, we can see that PXT has completed his marathon. He's also been able to spot out one of these straggler players instead of the mass of piranhas that are currently looking to shark out Eventide Temple. He's been able to intercept T's Wufong. Does he commit onto this fight? The problem for him, though, is that it's another Syra, and he does not want that hero removed before we head into finals lobby.
Yeah, I mean, the handshake meta, right? I mean, it's very optimal. You have to really be careful who you're going into that end circle. I mean, as we saw it there for game number 2, just the aggression from the opposing heroes. All right, if you're not the same as us, then you are going to be looked at by us. Is how I look at it. But PXT quickly getting aggressive there onto Arano on the backside. Arano does shop fairly a lot of those purple armors there in the backside. F caught in there for PXT. Now he might be completely looked at by the whole lobby. Cannon shots flying on in. Our ultimate investor here for PXT as well. Mike on the top side laying down the pressure there with the cannon. Now he is going to be the focus of attention here for PXT. Does manage to catch the dazzle into the damage there. F called in. Shot your ultimate investor here for Mike to avoid the full punishment there from PXT. But it looks like Arano might not be going to Mike. I think he was going to go towards Mike's way. Looks like Arano is going to be able to take a quick little reset with 1 minute and 55 seconds and counting. Has a little bit of a time to try to make this work. PSC still getting aggressive on here from Mike. The Shayo proc comes in there. I heard it in the backside there from Mike's ultimate. We do have the Syra dropping very low now. The Scarewister off the pulsar does so much damage in the backside. And Arano with elimination. And the double chained up there from the Shayo on the backside. Arano does not. Yes, he does manage to cleanse off of that. Does manage to side inside his game with 50% rage now. Everybody scattering on out here to take a quick reset in.
Yeah, Mike has a Venom tip as well on that repeater crossbow, which was one of the reasons that PXT on that Syra had to turn on to him. Arano lives on in this lobby because of that one inside the first room with Yang. It gave him a legendary pole sword, and that weapon becomes so valuable in situations like these where you have that Scarewish, that massive hit of damage that it does when it clips those players in one fell swoop. And that's the thing that finally takes PXT down before he can try and reposition, because he had his F1. He was trying to reposition to get a reset off. Mike had since chased him down because he knew that the Syra didn't have that ultimate. But that puts pressure now on the other Syra left in this lobby because it becomes so much easier. You can't costume swap, you can't wardrobe change and pretend that you're a different player who still has their ultimate playing the same hero that you are. If you're the only one of that hero in this lobby, Mike has the luxury of not being the sole Shayo as we get to see Spirit World spawning up. Is it going to be the same absolute frenzy of ultimates that were exchanged on Holoroth? Or are we going to be seeing this one much more dominantly player-sided? Mike does get hit into a lot of damage, losing both the armor and the health bar, being chased fully away as Edward with the drop down off of this tree on those RMBs from a blue fan, just trying to put the pressure onto everybody. He does have that Temi V free if he wants to actually throw hands and throw it into the ring, but he doesn't want to commit it until he sees some of these others use their ultimates first.
Yeah, Mike always being super aggressive here for these Spirit Wells, but it looks like FPSEQ Star is going to be contesting this and capturing it, getting that Mystic Might, plus this the repop from the ult. He already popped it, picked up the buff right after, so Star is going to be able to have full confidence going into this end circle right now with 2 ults back to back if he needs it. We do have him aggressing AES, I believe, in the backside on the Syra. Now, there goes the V2. It connects off the first into the drop down, does get the damage off of that massive parry in the backside there from AES, trying to stay alive, but Star now, the ultimate is gone. He does have it back online if he needs it though. AS forced to pop the Syra ultimate, getting caught up there onto the V2 from Frostvis this time around, into the slam down, jumps very low off of this situation. The random Bane starting to spawn on in onto all these players fighting in this area. We do have the Syra ult about to go out pretty soon. The second grab there from Frostvis into the zone. This gets a lot of damage off to that, but AS manages to stay alive. We have a grapple spam in the backside, but the RB focus there from Frostvis to pick elimination onto AS, and Arano now, since the LMB focus, managed to spin back there to stay safe. Star now picking up Mike there in the backside. The damage there for Spider onto Star. That's a lot of damage, and now Star, the aggressor, now being the aggressee, getting a lot of damage.
Can he make it to his armor swap? No!
Oh.
No, he doesn't manage to make it to his armor swap. He's literally half a meter away from the legendary armor that he could have been able to pick back up. What a good job from every single player in this lobby to kite the fight away from the Spirit Well, so that when Star actually decided to just keep that fight going with the back-to-back, the 4v2 grab potential that he had available, he was not able to get to his legendary armor and pick it up in time. Huge plays comes on through from everybody, and you could see too, like Star, he understood that as soon as he picked up that Spirit Well buff, he would be coming under pressure, he would be coming under fire, because he got out of the situation. He kept the purple armor, he didn't go for the legendary armor pickup. He did not want to be caught in the mix of every single player looking to try and get him low so that he gets sent out of that lobby early. As now, with that one threat removed, we go into a war of attrition and poke. Arano just squirreled up at the very top of this tree. He's been doing work with the bow previously. Can he find that same opportunity that he's looking for? Remember too, that legendary pulse sword in the back pocket. If a player goes low in one of these fights, you better believe that Arano is going to be sending himself with that scale rush to try and get that last hit of damage and convert into the elimination needed.
Yeah, Wufong popping his ultimate very early, trying to see if he can try to pick up elimination onto Spider, but if he doesn't manage to do so, this could be very bad for him. Spider as well investing the Xiao ultimate in the backside, kind of get a little bit of health back there from the ultimate, does manage to top off a little bit of that health. The Xiao F does connect it from the ult, that's big damage onto Wufong. Wufong now trying to run, he does manage to get a clip off the scale rush, still trying to fight for his life. Everybody looking at him now with the Sire ultimate offline. Everybody has the green light to try to see if they can pick up this elimination. We do have him doing a really good job of skill rushing around here with the fan, but gets clipped off the R&B focus ×2, and Edwards says the LMB follow up there off the LMB R&B focus from the fan, and he does manage to pick elimination onto Wufong, and that's going to be Edwards' first elimination of game number 3. I was going to say, the Temi's been a little quiet right now. That was the first time I saw the Temi as soon as the Spirit Wheel came online for this game, but now Edward with a beautiful showcase in there with his first elimination, and I mean, this is all that matters. This is a lot of aggression from a lot of players. If you're able to get the last hit in and get those kills up, kills is what matters. If you don't have to put all in the work, if you can just make it to end game and get those kills, even though you had a slow early to mid game, I mean, this is perfectly fine. On top of this, he is going to still get a little bit of those placement points from this alone, but now the Temi with F on cooldown, trying to see if he can play the top side of this terrain. We have Spider and Mike and Arano playing the bottom side. Frostvis being a little more distance from everybody right now, trying to wait this out, but we do have the triple pair of Shios being played out there. I mean, that is insane right there.
Yeah, that might not be a royal flush, but it's definitely still probably a winning combination currently. That's why Frostvis is so wary of committing into the central ground because he is going to get turned onto by every single one of those trails who understand that the Liam is the threat that they're going to have to deal with. Frostivus now having to share that spacing though with Edward. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, especially if Edward can sit in the backside of that fight and throw out those charged R&Bs on that fan back to back to back because Mike is so occupied taking that fight against Frostivus. He has to be careful though, given the fact that Parry is not forward facing anymore, as we've seen an elimination picked up from Prideful. There's no way in the same day we've seen an elimination from Overcomer. Arano very much utilizing their soldier just to buy himself some spacing. More than happy to showcase that he has it. In case anyone wants to try and get a little bit too close, they're gonna get bucked away by that horse all the way by the Bronco off of the cliffside and into that zone tick damage. As everyone is more than patient right now to play the waiting game and wait for that zone to fully close on up. It's better for the Temi if the zone closes on up because he can shut down the space with his ultimate immediately, as none of the Sheols want to commit in case one of them finds themselves going low. Mike now going to pop that ultimate, potentially get a little bit aggressive, maybe start building up some of that counter charge that he can throw through to be able to iframe out of something like that Liam V2 grab. Temi ultimate has already been invested on the low ground though, as Edward and Frostivus going head to head. The zone close at the top, or rather at the bottom of the cliff, forcing everyone to the top, into the Sheols, into the Tortoise block. The head is immediately going to be kept into that lock. Mike comes through with the elimination, has another of those blocks to be able to throw on through and keep himself in the mix as well. And it now becomes a game of sustain. Frostivus tried to back away from the fight so he didn't take player damage, only went down to that zone here, but he gets chased down. And Mike yet again, back-to-back Jacob winner, back-to-back MVP of the day.
Where, you get caught up, you throw the blade on the ground, you can go ahead and get the siphon back from it, but if you catch somebody in it, you can castle it into the prio. I just think that now at this rate, that how long they've been playing Liam, they just feel a lot more comfortable running that V2, especially with the value it provides.
Well, speaking about comfort, Fan is always going to be a comfort into solos meta. AS has so many options that he can go for. Selects the R&B charge focus. Ready forces that Justina's F2 out from both of these sides, but Lipo comes on through with that parry and will be able to get the better of his mirror. Spider now with that scale rush. Looks for the LMB prio into the grapple kick, follow through charged R&B on that Hangstone. That's eaten through all of the defenses that Verse has available, but can Spider, he's done so much of this work. 75% of this health bar that has been removed from Verse has been Spider's handiwork, but here comes Star looking to try and vulture this kill away, but Verse takes advantage of the third-party invasion to be able to get his hands on a great armor reset, and both of these two players are denied the kill.
Oh my god, Spider with a massive parry there. Does manage to pick an elimination down to Verse. Mike takes out T225 in the back end. Star now with a massive jump parry up opener there against Spider on the backside. Rana now landing down with a Tomokvis, but now Star picking elimination onto Spider and now applying the pressure onto Arano in the backside. Does manage to get some damage onto him with the health advantage as well. Arano trying to kite out the situation, and this is another known terrain here for these players here in Predoria, being able to use this terrain as for their advantage to make sure they can avoid some of this pressure thrown their way. PXC taking out Mike. Now Mike is only going to have one health or one life going into this remainder of this game, with one elimination already in this game. FPSGQ Star though still trying to catch up onto Arano, and it's not going to be easy with the geyser in play, this big terrain rock here as well. It's just constant scale rushes, a lot of hard work to try to catch someone lacking here for these scale rushes, and there it is, still going to continue to kite this out. And I wanted to mention, oh, there it is, big damage there on the backside. The pole sword is not going to be enough, and Star is going to pick elimination onto Arano. Frostivus and Lipo going at it. We do have everyone in the mix as well here for the third party.
Yeah, Lipo able to come in through with the blue armor. Syra F1 already going to be invested. Lipo does have both of his freezes, finds it onto Frostivus to lead up into the RMB from those halberds. Edward looks for the LMB prio into that extension, but Lipo will be able to dodge out of it when another of those Justina dashes. Heads on over towards that bell. Goes for the wall hang to be able to scale rush away once Edward closes up the distance too. Good bait. Comes on out from that Justina, utilizes the last of those dashes to put himself up up onto these rooftops so he can find the spacing to go for this armor powder reset before swapping on over to that fan. Now utilizing both the LMB and the RMB in Tombs are playing inside that pocket. Edward with the overhauled lipo doesn't feel comfortable with the play that he made. Goes for the F2, thinking that he misread the situation. And both of these players going to take a little bit of time to cool off before they come back into this fight anew.
Do have Lipo still playing a high ground. Edward does ice off some of this pressure and backs on up. Wufong drops very low. Has, I believe, PXT in the B2 ball. It looks like there's going to be a quick reset in for himself as well. AES going at it against OUG's Mike. And I did see one of the last frames there from the Wisp. So the F is going to be on cooldown there for Mike. Getting quickly aggressed on here from AES on the Justina. Trying to see if he can find elimination onto Mike. But Mike doing everything he can to wait up for this F. There it is. It's on cooldown. Still going to continue to skill rush on now. Has the ultimate online if he needs it as well, but he can't get aggressive now that the F is back online. We do see him sending the 1.0. He's going to get parry here from AS. Has the F to avoid the damage off of that as well. Does not catch him in the Wisp. Yes, he does. The lingering frame there off the R&B focus. Catches the reset into the musket shot as well. And now AS does get a lot of pressure thrown his way. He's going to have to chill out for a little bit. He's going to take a quick reset in. The first Roman Yang is starting to come on up. But what I wanted to mention a little bit earlier, I mean, with how the groups are, a lot of these players know if you're not playing the top metas right now, Liam, Syra, continuously. Hold on. We got triple uppercuts from Wufong. We got into the jump LMBs. Jump LMBs finisher there for Wufong. I was trying to yap, but Wufong was like, I got a combo for you. Coming in hot here, beautiful showcasing here from Wufong.
Oh, the staircase downward spiral. So many resets off of the grapple kick when they're just held in the air a little bit longer because they started a little bit higher. The higher you start, the longer you have to take to fall. That's exactly what the grapple kick combo gets to take full advantage of. In fact, some of these players will on purpose kite you over to that terrain so they can start a fight with you at the top of the staircase so that you break your neck on the way down. As it is going to be the first realm of Yang spawning one up in the lobby. Mike wanting to get pro position onto this one over towards Skygaze Coves, but he's actually going to be locked on out of the Coves one by Spider, who drops that Moonbane directly over the top of it to secure himself the entrance. Now Mike is going to have to contest with WBG's Verse and YCG's T225 if he wants to be able to get his hands one of those Yang passes that gives him free entry into that portal way.
What's crazy was, right, before, if you guys didn't know, the longsword could infinitely continue grappling combo like that with no terrain, right? Just flat ground. So they had to completely change it to where you need that terrain to be able to extend those uppercuts. But I mean, longsword was not very played a lot back then. But even though it had the potential of that, it just made it super strong. And whenever a player didn't have another weapon, definitely the longsword was being played out. But the Sire Ultimate already invested here from Edward onto Wufong, and Wufong's gonna fall off of this. He does have a second life here for this game. OUG's Mike, T225, and WBG's First going at it. Mike on the Tammy, trying to find a perfect opportunity to try to find a third party. But we have Burst investing this Aqua's ultimate there to try to secure this Roman Yang. We do have him already waiting this out with 14 seconds remain. He's gonna have around 3 seconds left, possibly, to enter the ring when that ult runs out. He is going to be fine, though. He is going to be able to take this out. These players do scatter on now. We do have Mike completely retreating off of this situation with blue armor left. Just going to wait this out. V2's out there to completely close it out. Now, which players are going to be able to take this Roman Yang? We do have everybody posted up on this realm as well, I believe. On it's just the area. It's just orange. It caught me off guard. But Mike now waiting this out. But yeah, R&B Pro, a little bit of love tap there to watch out. He's trying to bite up some resources. But Star is going to be our first one in the Roman Yang for game number 4 on the Shayo. Has 2 great weapons right now, Purple Fist Blades and Purple Pole Sword in hand for this fight. Waiting for his opponent. This player's always waiting for the last moment. Try to see, just see who takes the realm. You know, just wait it out. 6 seconds remaining. 4 now. Players are gonna join. Okay, I was gonna say we're not gonna take realm, but PXC is gonna be the opponent here for Star. We have Jail against WZ, WBG against SR.
Wait, Spider is up against Zog.
Yeah.
WBG and Ursa are going to be going head-to-head, but the one that we're going to be watching is Wolves, who's going to be head-to-head with FPX's Star Skirrush from PXT is already going to force out that combo breaker from the Shaol. Ultimate also called into play. PXT now burns out his own combo breaker, puts himself onto the pillar. Skirrush is away before the uppercut can potentially punish onto him when he's in that position. And now it just becomes a kite. He just has to be able to kite out the duration of the Shaol V1, and then he gets to come on through with the advantage into the second staging of the fight. Justina already burned one of those dashes coming on out, as well as the ultimate activation to knock Star back so that he didn't get the opportunity of throwing out that hold. Star gets hit by the freeze, but has the F1 back into place so that PXT does not get to extend off of the back of it. But Justina still has one dash. He's going to burn it. Looks for that one into the uppercut, the grapple bump into the RMB on the 2-1-1 off of those Howies. But will he be able to find the damage now as we get reset back into that neutral? He loses the weapon to the jump parry.
Oh, wow. I mean, the kite was beautiful there from PXT. Waiting out that Shayo ultimate. Waiting for the perfect opportunity. Just loses that focus there. Gets parried. The damage off the purple fist blades is enough there for the elimination there for Star. So Star now is going to get the buff plus the weapon upgrade there from that Roma Yang. We also have Burst winning his for his side against Spider at PSGQ as well, winning the Roma Yang. Spider now with 3 minutes and 55 seconds trying to stay up here for this game on the Liam. Strongest as well. I mean, we heard Frostivus talk about it whenever, you know, first picks Liam's that has to, he knew that was going to be his one of his good games because just how good Liam is. But Spider to go ahead and wait this out, trying to find a perfect opportunity for himself to find someone lacking. We do have AS resurrecting right in front of him, so he might be getting into that brawl pretty soon. PXC right next to Frostivus, Mike as well in the mix. Justina with 3 minutes and 27 seconds to try to cleanse now. Do have him on blue armor. We just saw his Roma Yang. As soon as I say that, it just magically finds a purple armor just laying in the middle of the map. Just
magically finds Mike, though. Mike might have actually utilized that purple armor to bait players in close. Because now he catches him with the pitter patter of the charged LMV on that staff. The Justina already burns out that F2. Mike in full control of that situation can try and keep up this pressure with that staff, being able to utilize those lunges and keep himself directly behind this Justina. Goes into the R&B, potentially looking for that parry. PXT flashes for that parry. As now it is going to be that Justina ultimate coming on out. Mike going to be committing that ultimate too, as the Justina cannot dash through that wind wall. And it turns now into a third party opportunity for Mike, who gets to play Invader, as both PXT and Frostivus stack too close to each other and get hit by the wisps. And Mike picks up one, might be able to find a second.
Oh my god, beautiful showcase in there from Mike, re-grabbing those whips into the pistol shots there to confirm the elimination there. But now Frostivus at full throttle with the ultimate advantage currently right here, but there's a no ult zone here for Mike. He's trying to pop it as fast as possible. Does manage to do so. Gets cut off at the R&B, but F came back from cooldown. Now neutral game for both players. Coming in hot. Frostivus catches the reprise once again, and this could be the elimination here for Frostivus. Manages to catch it there off the R&B focus, and Frostivus taking out the 2 times now, and this is gonna be Frostivus' first kill of the game. Mike gets out with 2, but now Frostivus trying to jump up higher here in the leaderboards.
I mean, Mike and Spider both sent out of this lobby. And I really hope we get to see a replay of Spider matching up against Verse, because Verse on this Arcos was actually able to come out with the Roma Yang win against the Liam, who, as you pointed out, Frostivus touted Liam as the strongest hero currently in this meta. So the fact that he lost to an Acos is very interesting indeed. Hopefully we'll be able to see how that occurred a little bit later on, as currently we're going to be watching Star get chased down by JL's AS. AS comes on through with that Justina dash to be able to close up the distance. Grapple wasn't doing the trick, but now he has to contend with the third party coming out from the Syra realm of Yang. Buffs are going to be showcased just before they could expire too. Vermilion Birds might kicks into the mix, allowing the continuation of Versus Lobby's existence. And now with AS having secured the soul bloom that he was looking for, he looks to try and disengage this fight, but he is not out of danger just yet. TW5 more than happy to keep up the pressure, considering he's still got that Syra ultimate in play, and AS trying to disengage away from one player runs into another instead.
Yeah, we do have AS trying to cut out the situation. Another player caught up now. do have him trying to go for that full reset in, and AS loves those double dashes in that Justina ultimate. Just the second time I catch him doing that. Do see him getting caught up by the raw uppercut into the 2-1-1 R&B focus there from T225. Another player showing up to the mix as well. Now AS drops very, very low here. Edward doesn't go for the lowest right now. Sees another player in the backside. Big parry for AS. Double parry as well onto Edward. Does send the damage. Does not get the full capitalization due to the F. But Star now trying to back on up. AS has to let go of his armor. He is currently on common now. But T225, Edward, and everybody in the mix are going to continue their focus onto AS. We still have him trying to scatter out from the situation. And here, does manage to spin back to R&B focus there from the Hong Sword. But now, there goes the full damage. F caught in from AS. 96% off the ultimate. Massive parry as well. Does manage to get it there. We do have the common ult now coming back. The ultimate now coming back here for AS. He is going to manage to take a full reset in. And it looks like that's all he needed to try to scatter out from here. But the pressure is on still towards him.
Yeah, massive play comes on from AS. The fact that he was able to pull that ultimate up is crazy. As we're going to be having a look at our second Rumble of Yang fight coming on through. This time it's going to be Frostverse versus Arano. Frostverse taking the full hit of damage from the charge horizontal coming on from that spear. Comes out with the F1, looks for the ultimate, will be able to find the activation and can now keep up the pressure. He does have the long shot in the back pocket too. So Arano on this time he's going to kite away from the invisible wall of that outside realm of Yang. Pushes Frostivus to the ulti into the wisp grab, and Frostivus gets taken out by the bow as the shell was not able to activate the counter, since you can't do it when you're under attack.
Wow, Lipo still going at it this time around against Verse in this Rumble Yang. Justina ultimate popped here for Lipo. We do have the 2-1 coming in here from the staff. Into the jump, it'll be finisher. No, still up. We have Lipo trying to stay alive in the situation. One dash remaining here off the Justina. Oh, also one tap. Does manage to dash on in, catches the freeze. Alco's ultimate invested. Is he able to have the weaves here? Weaves the first one. F to stop the pressure for coming on in. The backstab there from the F does manage to keep him up for now, but Verse now applying lots of pressure there with the 1 HP Justina. The scare rush, it's a little bit of damage on to Verse. The ultimate still online here for the Alcos into the scare rush there from the ultimate. Is going to be elimination there for Verse.
Verse is on absolute fire. He's won both of his Realm of Yanks, which is where this Akos needs to be that apex predator inside your 1v1s. He struggles into the multi-way fights. If he can pick up 2 eliminations inside a Realm of Yang, as well as scale himself up into being able to survive that end game, as well as having that buff, making these players very much deterred to try and take this fight. Oh my goodness, I've never seen the arm being utilized in that map. We're just playing Ring Around the Rosie. This is gonna be Lipo throwing on out that Hong Sword focus, trying to, with the Rampage, connect onto Frostivus as both of these players going a little bit low, backing on off, both of them getting hit with that Yang depletion, wanting to be able to take this 1v1s. Lipo finds that parry. Frostivus gets hit into the jump horizontal. Follow up as Lipo yet again commits the Rampage, and Frostivus is forced to try and commit the hands. The slap's trying to buy himself out of the situation. This time doesn't have Vajra's grip, but here comes the third party. Verse shows up to the mix with the charged R&B staff, scooping up Frostivus and the elimination. And unfortunately, the Soul Bloom, as Lipo is forced to watch as that 1v1 slips through his fingers. And now he's on the run from the Tiger, looking to just hide away on the second level of that building as Verse goes right past him.
That's unfortunate there for Lipo, but he did not invest ultimate, so he can still have that in his arsenal. Potentially Verse applies the pressure, but with his White Tiger's powers on Verse, he is going to quickly invest his ultimate to try to see if he can pick up the next elimination. And he still doesn't know that this player has Yang depletion timer, especially with him trying to ice off the pressure right now. But Lipo needs to be real careful in this situation. We do have him now trying to kite out this situation. Lipo, though, staying up for the time being, I believe around 3 minutes now for him to try to cleanse his Yang depletion timer. Verse, though, just quickly catching up to him with every movement he does, catching the scale rushes, catching the light attack damages as well. Lipo trying to resort inside the zone to try to ice off some of this pressure here for Verse, and that through the window jump LMBs. It's just so beautiful to see. We see that as well when players are trying to run away and catch the scale rushes out. A lot of players like to jump LMB up to be able to nullify the fact that these players are trying to escape for them, and we see Lipo having to change to a common armor armor here. He does manage to get a common armor swap. Verse not letting go of the gas pedal. Not even touch once here against Lipo. Full armored out here with the gold armor. We do have him now getting the counter grapple, and a lot of these players might start moving on in as well. We have Star on the backside. We have a congestion of players on the top side of the minimap as well. We have T225 taking out AS. Lipo drops very low, and it might just be in a matter of time that he gets picked up here. The Prio inside the zone. Another common armor swap here for Lipo. Every R&B for a little bit of damage onto Verse, but in the zone, taking a lot of damage. Verse with elimination here onto Lipo.
It's so unfortunate too that the fight going down between T225 and AS is not close enough for the Justina to run directly into where the action is happening and hope that everyone turns onto a lower health target. We saw from Verse as well in the back pocket with that longsword. One of those legendary soldiers is going to be the Phoenix Burst. It was parried the first time around. That's not, okay, there we go. Arana commits the arm and flies out of the situation as opposed to dozy-doing his way around the players trying to commit onto him this time around. The terrain taking a little bit too hot for his blood, as there are so many players in such an enclosed place, especially with the Moonbane in a really inconvenient position. Anyone who is caught late into rotating into the next zone, trying to put themselves into a better placement to capture out the Spirit Well and gain access to the White Tiger's Forest, which is going to lie within, is going to get punished by that Moonbane coming into place. That's going to force all of these players to immediately gravitate to that positioning a little bit earlier, as opposed to trying to take some of those previous fights. Arana is the play that we're going to be following along with. The Temi has made it all this way, so potentially we do see that ultimate come down and make that spiral just a little bit harder for these players to stick around into, as Arana is the first one who is going to be there. He's not the only one though. We can see 2-5 just hanging around the fringes, wanting to check out whether or not he can make a play for this. Edward, who's also going to be on that Syra, is going to make it harder as well. If one of these Syras pops that ultimate, if they disappear and change that weapon, no one's going to know which ones utilize that V1 if the fight breaks out anew. So they're going to be sticking very close to each other for that exact reason. FPX is Star on that Shaol. In case there's a Liam in the mix, going to be keeping himself out of sight. Entirely different positioning coming on through from him, as now the Spirit Well contest begins. Who's got the Soul Jade, which sees everybody take a big step backwards. Versus got the Merciless Havoc. It bought T225 at the last time around, but Wufong, there's a reason we've got a great sword out. Do we have an Earthshaker in play?
I saw him drop down with a triple charge. I'm not sure if he converted to Earthshaker, if he canceled a lot, but he's definitely going for those triple charges off the top rows, as we just saw here. But I mean, Verse with the Merciless Havoc here is just to be able to control a lot of the pressure here. Oh my god, gets the grapple bump, can't go for the focus, but it looks like the body went towards the top side here, so does not get the damage. But the Merciless to be able to keep contesting this area, and he is going to pick up this this buff as well, the White Tiger's powers, and has another utilization of another armor as well for his for any situation that he needs. We do see him on the Akko. Keep in mind, he did get eliminated very early into the start of the game, but being the lone Akkos in this lobby, he's doing a really good job staying up, picking the correct fights, and being able to come on top. And now with a fairly stacked loot that he has right now, he's looking very potentially to win this game as well. But Arano's macro is looking beautiful in that second realm of Yang. I mean, we saw a bow restand off the R&B focus from the spear to recast the prio. So I mean, just little stuff like that. It's just insane to watch here, especially in the lobbies that we're witnessing here. Just being able to recast stuff like that, bow restands. I would love to see a lot more bow restands. There's a couple with a couple weapons. You know, spear being one of them. We've seen them with longsword as well. I mean, just a lot of potential having a bow in the arsenal. Yeah, it shoots a little bit slower than a musket, but having the potential to restand off of a headshot alone is just a great tool to have, especially if you have that crispy aim like Arano has. Verse, though, still on the White Tiger's power, can get active, but we see him trying to focus a Syra here in the situation. Scale rushes out on the backside, but we have T225 and Edward both playing here in this hutch to try to stay up, and the pressure here with his lone Akkos here from Verse might be a bad situation for him, but he's trying to make the best out of it with this buff in play. We have a Syra ultimate invested there from Edward, so this might be the best case scenario. Does manage to weave the Moonbane there in just a matter of time. This could be super bad. The Temi ultimate is going to invest it for Arano as well. One of the Syra ults are about to go out pretty pretty soon. So just we're gonna have to wait and see how this pans out for those players. Arano trying to scatter on out. It looks like he does manage to do so. With this terrain here, is gonna be able to catch a full reset.
Yeah, Edward is that Cyro who burned that ultimate is going to be disappearing. T5 still holds on to theirs though, so we're likely going to be seeing Edward trying to break away and go for a weapon swap and pretend to be the other Cyro, but Verse has been able to keep track of which of these Cyros has utilized that ultimate until now. He loses a massive chunk of that legendary armor, does still have the armor reset, and that is one of the Cyros down. Edward, the Cyro who burned that V1 earlier, and now it becomes a matter of pressuring the next ultimate out of the other Cyro still in the mix. Verse with the RMBs into that rampage coming on through just continuous pressure from this Hong Sword. Finally, T5 is forced to part ways with his ultimate, and Verse, job done, looks to disengage. He makes it into the open space so that he can skirmish off of those cliff chasm edges back towards where his armor reset is going to be, but T5 gets to play the verticality still with these last couple of moments of his ultimate with the stun dazzle, prevents the Liam from breaking free to the top ropes where that armor reset is potentially going to be. Now the Akos pops the ultimate, knows that the Cyro is going to be low. T5 drops down to the low ground, utilizing the trap clip to make sure that Verse isn't going to be super hot on his heels. Will be able to find one armor powder, but unfortunately he runs directly into Wu Fong, and Verse is gifted a full reset opportunity. The problem for him is that he committed the ultimate, and now he has to try and find value of it in a multi-way fight. T5 eats so much damage coming through from the range shots of the bow. Will still be able to put himself onto the lower level of the building with this longsword, skirmishing just backwards and forward before these players can lock him down. Finds a blue armor swap as well into that zone, but Arano with the bow has been able to track down where the Cyro has gone to, and T5 without that ultimate does have the combo break, has to make sure that he doesn't slow down on that trap clip. Now utilizes the F1 to get the verticality, but he runs directly into FPX's Star, who chases him down with the fan, and we go from 5 to 4 players. This lobby is not done. Verse and Star both dueling for that MVP potential, but Arano and Wu Fong, with enough players left in this lobby, if they find the eliminations, can still steal it away.
Yes, and this is a different character in zone now for this game. Everybody is on a whole different hero. We do have Verse once again on the Akos, Arano on the Temi, Star on the Xiaoyo, and Wu Fong on the Liam. And now, just a matter of moments, Zone 6 almost completely fully closed. Moving on into our last and final moments of game number 4. We do have Verse once again, Gold Staff with Merciless. I mean, being able to take out a lot of damage here from range with this weapon, being safe and gold for him as well. It's a very strong weapon to have. He is playing the low ground game here, so we have to wait to see how he comes out from the zone. Now, Arano, once again, another player with, I mean, fully gold weaponed out pretty much with 3 gold weapons in his inventory. Just going to wait out the last and final moments of this game. About to have his ult online once as well. We have Star on the Xiaoyo, purple weaponed out. Does have a good variety of weapons, though, to his arsenal. But Arano trying to claim the high ground here on the Tomok. Wu Fong on the Liam. Has the potential to catch somebody there with the V2 and get the damage inside the zone there with the Liam. It's just a matter of time with the fan in hand. It looks like our player on the below ground might just play the healing game at this point. I don't think there's an exit here, so he is going to be playing out. Nope, he goes right back in. Verse quickly getting caught up by the burst there from Arano, though, trying to get some shots through the wall. Doesn't manage to connect off of that one, nor that one either, but the pressure is there from Verse, and Verse here's this Burst calling. He needs to be real careful of that.
Yeah, Merciless Havoc, though, can pressure these players who are a little bit too close to the edge of that zone. And he's spotted a target. In fact, he's putting himself directly into the middle, keeping up the pressure onto Wu Fong, who's going to be forced to keep himself into this building, or else he's going to take all of that damage through the window. Verse tries to find his opening. Again, keeping everybody at arm's length, but trying to build up that little bit of damage necessary to hit that last bit of charge necessary to hit into his ultimate as the zone fully closes on through. Arano throws out his Temi ultimate. Everyone gets locked into the direct center of it. Eye of the Hurricane means that you're immediately in the spacing for the Liam V2 to catch you and throw you directly into that storm. Wu Fong tries to break away. The bow shots, though, still coming on out. Arano is down. Verse picks up the elimination, and it is going to be a tie for last player standing. No one gets the kill score multiplier. And I believe it might be enough that Verse was able to find an elimination onto Arano that's just able to push him the distance necessary to pick up the MVP.
Brought out the V3 for the first time. Yeah, that was just insane to watch, and it was countering the new stuff. But, you know, players quickly adjusted to that, so it didn't last for that long. But, you know, being innovative like that is just a staple in my book, I would say. Being able to pull something out like that in this level is just insane. But Mike quickly dropping down to 1 HP. T2 5 trying to snag up this elimination. Nice grapple over here from Mike. He picks up the grapple from it to the 1.0. He stays alive there. The composure there from Mike. Manages to catch the elimination there. Now Lipo showing up to the party. Tries to go for the common armor sword, but he is going to fall in that situation.
Yeah, and that is going to be Mike sent back to that soul altar. AS now burns through that Volta F2. Fistblades versus Fistblades. Who's going to come out on top? AS gets knocked into the stun dazzle from PXT's F1, but Lipo steals the kill from the Syra, and then with that fan, scale rushes off of the side of the building. PXT cancels the ultimate early, picks up the soul one so he can at least start regenerating some of that rage as quickly as possible. As Lipo knows he's got an advantage. There's a window where the Syra doesn't have the ultimate as long as he doesn't let her kite over to the Forbidden Seal, and with that potentially in play, Lipo is not going to continue that fight.
Super unfortunate there for Lipo. Nice start there for himself, though. We do have Wufong in the mix right now, trying to get active against Arano. Arano, a nice jump LB. I mentioned that earlier when these players are going for that scale rush. The jump LB counter into the follow-up focus attack there for Arano to pick an elimination onto Wufong. Lipo now against PXC has that Aqua's ultimate invested already here for Lipo, trying to see if he can catch a V2. I believe he does have another extra one. RB into the grapple bump, into the uppercut once again. RB into the V2. Big combo extension here for Lipo, into the jump LB finisher. Aerial R&B doesn't connect though. The prowl now for PXC in the corner. Big damage into the 1-2-3 as well. And PXC turning the fight around there, coming out victorious here in the scrap off.
Yeah, PXT wins out without having to need that combo breaker, as Jails AS does have both his and his ultimate available. Hasn't felt pressured enough to use them just yet, but now that he's down these armors and is also kited onto that staircase, there's no troves in play for an armor reset. The 1-2 from this halberd chunks away Arana, so putting these two at an even footing, and AS is actually able to utilize the 1-2 from the halberds to keep Arana far enough away that he can go into that trove and open it up for a blue armor reset, and suddenly the ball is very much in the Volda's court. We do potentially see a third party coming through. Frostivus, they just ran directly past him, and Arana knows that he's not going to be safe. Looks for the scare rush disengagement, takes a lot of damage by trying to set it up initially, but will be able to find it the second time around. Tries to find an armor reset, but unfortunately the troves are not in any of his RNG's favor, and now he has to put himself onto that rooftop, gets one vitality off, but Frostivus hot on his heels, keeps up the pressure. Scale rush connects, it interrupts Arano's disengage. The Liam forced into throwing out that F1 just to keep himself in the move, but here comes AS ready to interrupt that disengagement option, and Arano gets stuck on the wall, has to utilize it now to scale rush away, but the grapple from Frostivus holds him into position, and now it's just a matter of who's going to be able to find the elimination. AS with the reach of the halberds will be able to take it, and Frostivus had invested that Lonnie ultimate, now has to end it early to hold on to as much rage as possible because the Volta still had the V2 in play.
I see the vision there for Frostivus, just trying to secure the elimination there, just 1 second too late popping that ultimate, but now it goes back to neutral for himself and opposing player. Spider at Plume Castle. Looks like he is aggressing Edward in the middle of the map right now. Spider with blue armor, blue weapon in hand on the Akos, trying to see he can try to get a little active here. Looks like FPHGQ Star is in the mix as well. He's going to be running right into Spider right now with gold pole sword in hand, getting that puzzle down for himself. The F2 out here for Spider. Looks like the Dazzle is going to use it just for a little bit of health, a little bit of bow shot there from Spider onto Star. It's going to be a little bit of a skirmish here. First Roman Yang already starting to form on up here for these players. We do have OUG's Mike with 1 on the board. I believe there's like 2 other players who have eliminations so far. We're going to have to wait and see the locations of this Roman Yang. Wufong and Lipo close to each other. Might be taking the right side of the puzzle realm of Yang Gates. We do have Star, Spider, T225, possibly taking the Plume Castle one. OUG's Mike is going to start rotating transitioning on in as we see in the minimap. Edward probably playing the top side versus well, and Arano on the low wolf side with AS on the right hand side. Frostivus is going to take the bottom one if he can. We have a Moonbane Charm called in from PXC this time around. The man Pace still hasn't been able to find his momentum in these games so far, so hopefully he can have a different outcome here for this game as we see him set it up here on the Syra, already with a good armor set here for himself on the purple armor, blue weapons all around currently for himself with the blue nunchucks in hand, a little bit of purple shades as well for him, so we have to wait and see how he does in the Roman Yang. But now Edward, Star, and Spider are going at it here on the bottom side of Plume Castle.
Yeah, Star with that legendary pole sword picks up from solving Salvation Podiums, looking for that Scale Rush opening, and you can already see Spider, despite having purple armor, has already lost a massive chunk of it from that connection coming on through. Star swaps off of that pole sword onto that staff, keeping himself as mobile as possible out of arm's reach of the players, a little bit too close to him, puts himself into that realm of Yang, wanting to try and pick up that Yang pass. T25 has been able to pick up his. Mike is going to be sparring him out for control of this one. Already burns out that Liam F1, so no combo break in play until the next couple of moments. As Mike loses the armor, goes for the scare. T25 very accurate with these bow shots, able to keep the Liam all the way out of that fight, and Mike is forced to back on off. We've got a Lonnie ultimate coming into play. Someone feels like they're going to be able to take that Yang. No, they've been pressured. Spider was able to catch one of these landing so incredibly low. Edward on the back foot throws out the trick ball, but has not been able to get any of the damage that he was looking for, nor set up any of these combos. This is purely to try and stagger Spider so he can buy himself a free disengage, but that ultimate is going to be done. He's been able to run himself into one of these buildings, has to make sure that he's not spotted though by T5. He's going to go through that realm of Yang portal, and Spider went all the way around the building but did not pass the perception check of where that Lani was actually hiding. Master of illusions indeed.
Beautiful cut noise there from Edward to make sure he stays up. FPSEQ Star though against Wu Fong in this Roman Yang. We have the Justina against Syra here. Star also has the gold pole sword in hands and be able to do a lot of damage. He is able to catch a pole sword scare rush. We do see Wu Fong though coming in hot. The F caught in there for the Syra. Does manage to regain that neutral game for both players, but gets recaught off of this as well. Tries to go for the TOD, but he drops it. The uppercut. Ult pop does not raw dragon. Was a little bit pushed up forward there to be able to catch the knockback off of this. Now that Syra being able to apply a lot of pressure here onto Wu Fong, uses the dash to get some cover here from the pillar here on the other side of the map, but now the pressure's still going towards his way. Star trying to stay up here on the Syra. The ultimate does run out now. The freeze does not connect, but manages to catch the prod. The F called in there for Star. I believe no more dashes there for Wu Fong, but catches the reply off of this. Can go for the 201 extension. There goes the first carousel into the second one as well, into the second carousel, and that's big damage there for Wu Fong, showing up here with the longsword infinite there in the Roman Yang, and that's where his danger's here for the longsword.
Oh, that was a ticking time bomb, and that Siren needed the F1 to escape out of it. That was a blue longsword. That's why Wu Fong had to extend the carousel as far as he did. He got 2 grapple kick extensions in that carousel wall extension. Absolute crazy stuff. That's why you're going to see like so many of these players. Raven was talking about it. We saw it in Jacob. That was one of the major changes that occurred in the last year. Spider would always have a longsword in the back pocket. Yep. Now it's been standardized. All of these players are going to be looking for that longsword wall extension carousel combination string, because if they can get it and you don't have your combo breaker, it's curtains. You're done. Just, take your hands off of the keyboard and enjoy the pony ride as the music flashes around you. Get ready to strap yourself back into that lobby once you hit the soul altar, and are now saddled with Yang depletion, as unfortunately for Edward, seems like he's still on the run from Spider. Spider's less a tiger in this lobby and more of a bloodhound. He's got the scent of this lobby and he is not giving up.
Oh my god, just with that bounty on him, he just can't go anywhere. You just have to kite out that situation as much as possible. We do have a Valda ultimate invested there from AS in the back end against Wu Fong. Now, it's like AS ult is going to run out now, and the pressure is going to go his way very fast as well from Wu Fong. Trying to see if he can catch up as fast as possible. It has gold hung sword in hand, so the damage against that blue armor is going to be massive there, but we see him full grappling out of the situation. T25 T225, Star, and PXT going at it here as well. The Syra F called in there for PXT. Star trying to take a quick reset in for himself with 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here for his Yang depletion timer. Still has that gold pole sword, so if he does manage to get eliminated, somebody's going to get a nice little Christmas gift there with that gold pole sword. T225 getting caught up here with an RB uppercut there.
Grapple bump.
Oh my god, the full extension there. He swapped off there, does get the damage there onto T225. We do have the call in there for the Siren, but the uppercut, the raw uppercut there from Star takes out the elimination onto T225.
Yeah, Star just plays the waiting game for one of those players to have to go low enough to disengage and then manages to interrupt the escape plan. Has the F1 too to buy himself the spacing, just jumps directly back into it so that he can't get follow pressured up into by PXT. Now comes the Syra ultimate, the stun dazzle catches his mirror. The F1 is going to be invested, but Star is able to dodge directly ahead of it. And PXT now is trying to find this heal. It's not super important that he wins the 1 versus 1. Unlike Star, he does have that Vermilion Bird's Mind. He might actually choose to stand still with how low that timer is going to go. He's about to go down to 20 seconds. If this fight extends any longer, he might take it out of the lobby without the buff proccing. He is dancing with fire, going for the F1 activation, and just before he can hit the 10 seconds remaining on Vermilion Bird's Might, Star finds the elimination and takes PXT down. But oh my goodness, that almost went horribly, terribly wrong.
Oh my god, that was insane there from Star though. Being able to stay composed. We do have a replay here, and our other half of Roman Yang here for T225 against Arano. Shayo for T225. The V2 catches here. We are able to take one battalion. There goes the wall bounce. What's going to be the mix-up here? F caught in to avoid any damage there from T225. That's a smart play there to avoid the follow-up damage off the V2. Weaves the second V2, though, and he throws out the chains. Does manage to connect with a new Shayo chains. The proc comes in off the nunchucks, catches the tapped off prowl there off the LNB prowl. And now we have Arano. Drops very low. The health is are even here for both of these players. We do have him catching with the 1-2 in the corner, tries to wolf around, and that gives him the prowl there for T225 into the aerial R&B finish, and that's how he snagged up that gold long sword and winning that Roman Yang. Beautiful showcasing there from T225, and we do have our second Roman Yang now sparring on in. I mean, it's just, I feel like we just had straight action non-stopping, but 10 players still remain currently here for this game. These players are posted up for the second Roman Yang Lipo Star here in this area, trying to see who's gonna be able to take this Roman Yang versus PXC fighting for it. In 15 seconds, the realm opens. PXT's gonna take a quick little reset in. Shayo Ultimate already invested here for Verse, and we see that he is gonna have a lot more than enough time to stay in this ultimate form to be able to take the Roman Yang. T225 and Mike drops very low. The V2 comes out, I believe, here for a player. Mike on the lead, does not catch the second one, tries to snag him and tries to throw him back, but did not manage to catch. Nice little roll there from T225. Both shot misses. The second one connects, and that's a headshot as well. That's a lot of damage there onto Mike, but T225.
Oh, he's
trying to play pressure. Oh,
he is running directly to AS. Has AS spotted out that Mike has been pressured? As we're going to be following T225's perspective, keep an eye though in that bottom right, because Mike or AS might be showing up in the kill feed as we watch both Wufong and T225 go head-to-head. Wufong, the legendary Hongsword on that Justina, has been looking for those TODs with the Justina freeze dashes previously. Will he be able to find more success? Both of them taken to the sky, exchanging the pistol swap shots as Wufong catches the charged R&B off of the ground connection. Goes for the overhold. The Shale already having to invest both the F1 and that ultimate. Now going to be coming into the mix. Wufong buys himself a little bit of time without having to worry about the stagger knockback. Goes for the freeze, finds it onto T225. The stagger comes in. The headlock gets called into play, and Wufong has to burn one of those dashes to get himself to the pillar so that he can start to play either the kite game or the charged RMB catch if T225 tries to scale rush or grapple up onto this Justina's position.
It's so fast, the Shayo chain. I mean, we saw him there go for a pry into a dodge, and he instantly gets caught up there with the Shayo chains. But now both ults are gone for both of these players. Wufong clinks off of that. T225 with a gold longsword. Ooh! Nice little crouch weave there for Wufong onto the enemy focus there from the longsword. The follow-up 1-2 there from the longsword to get some extra damage onto Wufong. T225 being able to cut this out. Gets the damage off the Scare Rush into a follow hip as well. Wufong still trying to apply the pressure. Eats the damage off the R&B focus. That's a lot of damage off the gold longsword, but Wufong still on the front foot pedal trying to go strictly in. Does catch the Scare Rush up early. Gets the R&B focus damage. Overholds it. F caught it for T225 and Wufong. F's are on cooldown for both players. Good comes in ×2. Jump LB does not connect into the follow-up R&B there for Wufong, and T225 not happy about that one. That was a super close fight between both of these warriors, and Wufong coming out on top.
Oh, Wufong goes for the focus hold to avoid the stagger that T225 tried to put against that Justina. What a read! If he hadn't gone for that one, that fight goes entirely differently, and T225 is able to come on through with the win, especially since Wufong burned the F2. Everything that T225 was doing at the opening stage, when we went back to that neutral reset once those ultimates had been out of play, he was trying to force that Justino to using the combo breaker because he had that longsword, legendary longsword. He was looking for that carousel combo into the invis wall, wasn't able to find it. Wufong holds on to the combo breaker, holds on to his cool. He's playing the right hero for it. As now, unfortunately, T225 is going to be hit with that Yang depletion. Lipo in an exact same situation. The Shield's taking a little bit of downtime to head over towards that Rift Dealers and pick themselves up some extra loot. As Lipo is going to be running directly into one of the last heroes you want to run into when you have Yang depletion. You do not want to be taking a fight against OUG's Mike, but then again, neither do you want to take a fight against Verse when he's that stacked up in equipment. That was legendary armor already in the hands of Verse. As T225 also kited over to that Ballista Tower originally, since so many of those players go to that location wanting to just utilize that pillar and keep out of a fight so that those with Yang depletion are forced to look elsewhere.
Yeah, this is where it starts getting tricky, right? Second round just ended. A lot of these players instantly know whoever's applying pressure has the anti-depletion timer, so it's very dangerous to try to start a fight with anybody. I think positioning is very important in these situations, so you do not get third party, especially with how long these fights last between these players. Even if you have ult and managed to snag up the elimination, I mean, there's somebody always there right after. Oh my god, the bounce back there from the flower.
The
It's gonna take out the Verse. Verse is gonna get bounced back there from the cactus. Lipo though, trying to make a run. Does get caught up here for some damage from the bush up there from T225. Everybody has his eyes onto Lipo, and this is what I was saying. You were getting aggressive earlier in this fight. He cut it all the way through puzzle side and still getting full aggressed on by 3 players this time around. And this is where it might not go so great for him. Verse, Wufong, with full gold armors in hand right now. Lipo uses F to try to get some of that damage reduction in play for himself, but now getting caught up, still being able to scare us around. T225 being the first one in. Verse as well with a grapple there. Does manage to catch up there onto Lipo. Trying to use the bottom side of this terrain to try to stay up. Cuts right back in from the zone. Wufong doing the outskirts with a, oh my god, the massive R&B focus there from the pulsar to pick elimination onto Lipo.
Yeah, and pick up the Soul Bloom. T225 is denied the cleanse. And now, thankfully, he didn't commit his ultimate, but he can't make the desperation play. He can't continue the fight because that, like you said, is going to give the game away. Every single player is going to know that there's another one with Yang depletion. They know that it's a Shayol, they just don't know which Shayol it is. Verse has a very good idea that it's a Shayol that's not him. He is incredibly stacked right now, and you can actually see him trying to figure out where exactly T225 has dropped on off because there are so many exit strategies underneath Salvation Podium. You can go out the way you came in, or you can go out on the other side of that hallway. And T225 now has spotted out that there's a massive play as Frostivus, it looks like, is getting turned on to potentially as the Ballista also comes into play. T225 having to burn that F1 for the damage reduction to live the absolute onslaught that comes on out from Wufong on the other side of Salvation Podium, and it's Edward with the pistol who actually takes T225 down. Wufong has denied the elimination damage off of the fire burn from that Ballista, but he's more than happy to zone everyone away from that Rift Dealers because now he can go shopping.
in such a dangerous zone to be fighting in, right? I mean, you see the drawbacks to fighting in this area. Wufong quickly hears the aggression from across the map, being able to hop on one of these ballista and eating up all that damage while you're getting aggressed on by somebody already, and that tick damage from the burn. It's just so much pressure here in this area. It's just super dangerous to try to start a fight. But in that situation, I mean, T225 with that Yang depletion timer, Verse was, you know, he wants to try to see he can keep that Xiaoyu going into the end circle, so he also got aggressive there to try to get the elimination there for T225, knowing that one player has the Yang depletion timer of the Xiaoyus. Obviously it's not him being on the same character. Once again, not trying to move into these end zones without the same hero is super tough, especially like in the situation where you have Edward and Frostivus both on the Lonnies. You know there are going to be handshaking in that situation, so it's just super rough there. T225 does not manage to stay on top, so now Verse is going to have to deal with all this by himself like everybody else. But Edward, we do have him in the center of the Spirit while trying to stay up. Does manage to pop the Lonnie ultimate. The bounce backs, I believe, does get a little TP in there to avoid the damage there coming in from the Spirit Will pressure. AS overholding the Pulsar. Fong with gold fan in hand. OUG Smite always trying to contest these zones, wants to take those buffs, waiting for the perfect opportunity. You see him just lurking in the back, just R&B weaving in, trying to see if he can find some source of damage in Wufong as well. We do have Frostivus in the backside on the Lonnie with a fan as well. Now PXT trying to claim this middle zone. A lot of damage happening. It's going to start happening pretty soon as well. We do have Storm Shot, I believe, as well from one of these players. Verse getting caught up in the backside. Lots of damage, but AS is going to be forced to pop this Valda ultimate, and he has to make the best out of this, because if he does not secure this buff, this could be really bad for him.
Yeah, especially given the fact that he's the only Valda in this lobby. He will be able to use that VT, though, to manage to zone everybody away. Everyone decided it's much better to disengage the fight and get out of distance, out of vision, for AS to be able to secure these spears onto these players, because then you're going to be sitting ducks for everybody in that lobby. AS looks for the drop down R&B onto the disengagement, but unfortunately his plans are sent awry. It's not a spanner that gets thrown into them, it's a Moonbane AoE. Now though, you can look for that vertical swing. PXT so incredibly low. 2 hits connected onto PXT at the exact same time, and he's immediately forced into burning out that Syra ultimate just to keep himself intact. Goes into the center of Salvation Podium. We're probably going to be seeing that Thorny Roller roll its way around into that threat zone. As PXT now out of that ultimate, it is going to be a target. The Valda knows that he doesn't have it. He turns the R&B onto the Valda, looking to try and chunk down, sets up the skill rush too, before swapping on over to that spear and utilizing the threat of that erudition. One of the soldiers that has that purple last hit of focus that cannot be parried, and that is going to buy himself space and respect, especially if he can utilize that last hit to knock these players into that zone. But the zone itself is going to close, and now comes the question of whether these players can escape out of it, if they have the health bar to live the gauntlet that the Thorny Roller and that little bit of damage tick from getting out of that zone is going to give them. PXT with the F1 from that Cyrus survives it, but Verse is taken down on the rotation, and PXT is able to find a purple armor swap. He's still not out of the woods just yet, though. There are so many players nearby, and he's still incredibly low. He doesn't have a fan, he doesn't have a dagger. The skill rushes are going to be so much lower, but he still has that erudition, and he's utilizing it to dodge, duck, and weave around all of the hits. Jails AS throws out the vertical focus from that longsword, but it doesn't find the connection, as PXT, with sheer force of will in this erudition Souljade, is holding himself in this lobby.
Nah, that Jay is the MVP right now. Literally keeping PXT alive for the time being. But just one catch right there. Edward being the last one, being the one picking up the elimination down to PXT. But what a beautiful run there for PXT, trying to stay alive in that situation. Frostivus, though, active right now with 2 eliminations on the board. AS drops very low. Mike trying to ice off the pressure there from the Valda. Might be relocating his aggression onto AS. Looks like a quick little reset is going to happen for AS. Mike wants to say with this character, due to the two Lonnies in play, Edward and Frostivus. Now, AS does have that gold pulsar in the hand, so he is going to be able to get some sorts of damage when the zone completely closes. Wufong on the top side there on the Justina, playing the top side, waiting this out, does not want to be the center of attention. We do see him just chilling up there, waiting for the zone to completely start closing in 14 seconds. Now, Frostivus, Mike, AS are going to be playing the left-hand side of the map, and now we're going to have to wait and see how this last moments unfold. We do have OUG's Mike with 1 elimination on the board, MPSGQ Stars with 3, OA's Edward with 4, BBE Frostivus with 2, and T Wufong with 3, as well as AS with 1 on the Valda. Just a matter of time, we'll see the last and final moments of this game unfold. Our second to last game of the day. Wufong applying some pressure there with the pistol shots on the top side, looking very healthy. We do have other 2 players with gold armor. It's going to be Star and AS, but now Balda's out here for AS, eating up a lot of damage off the gold fan, but it responds with a massive parry onto Wufong. The F called in there for the Justina, and AS is going to use this opportunity to pop this ultimate. He's going to take a full reset in for himself, and now this could be bad for him because Zone 7 hasn't even started spreading.
Yeah, but he pops it now so that he can get it out of the way and then work back into rebuilding the V2 when the zone actually collapses onto all of these players and they lose control of that spacing. Something to point out as well is that the Lonnies, I believe, are both using the V2, not the V1. Frostivus, I know, has the V2, and Edward has been liking to pick up that V2 previously, so we're not going to have that same level of verticality as if the V1 is currently in play. It fixes Star on that Cyrus still holding on to that ultimate, does not have a lot of that legendary armor left, but does have that pulse sword in the back pocket. Unfortunately, is going to be able to take it out of Star's hands. He has to burn his combo breaker, and his ultimate goes incredibly low against the rocks. Pops all of those stun dazzles to be able to heal himself back on up, as we're down to almost 1 minute left on this game, and this boulder is still not being pressured until now. AS without that ultimate was hoping to be able to build it back on up, but it's OUG's Mike with the pistol. He's not even in view at the moment. He's hidden off screen because he's only on 1 elimination. That's the second of the match. He has to play this perfectly. Now he gets to get a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more oogly, as some of our other casters would say, as here comes the Liam V2, and there goes FPX's Star.
Oh my God, Mike with a perfect ult usage there to snag out the elimination. We still have 4 players remaining here. The both Lonnies are still alive. Frostivus throwing out a V2 to try to extend off of this. There it is. Instead of LB focus off of that, gets the damage. Now the F caught in there from Mike. Frostivus still has 1 more charge of his ult left. Overholding, trying to see if he can find, oh, nice little TP on the top side of the map there to avoid some of this pressure. Jumps right down there, Edward with an arrow RMB. We do see him. The freeze connects there on the backside. Mike drops very low. Wufong with elimination onto Mike. The bounce is there off the balls there from the Lonnie ultimate. Frostivus drops very low. The Justina freeze does not connect, but Edward snags up the elimination, and he is the last one standing, but it wasn't enough for the MVP here for game number 5. We're going to have to wait and see. I believe it was, though, for the amount of eliminations he's had. But what a bounce back there from always Edward, snagging up his first MVP. Celestia, sorry. I do see only 1 player. We have a contestant of players here, Mike, AES, Lipo, I believe Verse as well. And this is game 6. The players are full W key mode here for this game. We have Mike on the Oculus, 1, 2, 3, sense it, gets the damage onto Verse, catches that damage as well, catches the LMB, 1, 2 in the corner, lots of damage there onto the Justina, and it looks like the elimination has not happened so far, but catches the grapple point into the R&B focus, and that's a quick elimination there from OUG's Mike.
Yeah, Mike looking to finish things out strong. Goes for the overhold on the focus. Doesn't time the parry, but will be able to come through with that vertical slam dunk once he's up in the air. That does not allow Jails AS to get that last hit of damage necessary to take the Tiger King down. And Mike grapples away, finds a great armor reset on the rooftop. Still has to find Vitalia, though, to be able to heal up this health bar. And unfortunately, the Trovers have not been kind in terms of that aspect. He's still going to be on the run until now. Gets 1 Grey Vitalia, so that's not going to be a lot of health sustained, but it is still something. As we get to look at Wolves and Wufong go head-to-head, PXT comes on through with that F1 for that damage reduction, as well as looking to space the Lani away, but Wufong commits the F1 aggressively to keep the chase onto PXT, knowing that she was down that combo breaker, and is able to find the kill.
That was beautiful there. I didn't really pay attention to how much stamina he had, but if he used it to like catch the elimination there. That was insane. OUG's Mike on Alkos once again against Lipo. Aggression going towards Lipo's way. The 1-2. Just everything he's throwing his way is just going his way. He tries to catch that off the F1. Does get the damage reduction now. Since they'll be focused, parry connecting here for Lipo. Not trying to respond here in this situation. Mike though, just catching the prior off the light there. Now into the grapple point, into the fan swap, into the aerial R&B as well. Mike with a nice little weapon swap there off the prior from the spear into the focus attack there for the fan to secure that aerial R&B follow up to secure the elimination as well. Mike just full W key, no pressure, he's just ready for the scrap boss right here. He's gonna wait this out. He does see AS in the back end. T225 trying to take a full reset in on the Syra. We do have Edward and Lipo with only 1 life left here for game number 6. Mike already starting up hot here with 2 eliminations on the board. Edward with 1, Arano, Wufong both with 1 as well. Everybody's still sitting at 0. As soon as I say that, Wufong picking an elimination onto Arano. Now seems to be a little bit of a loot session here for these players so far into the first run with Yang, but Mike is not slowing down anytime soon. We have a 3-way scrap off, possibly 4 if Frosted is starting to move on in.
And Mike finds another grapple bump. Manages to catch the uppercut as well before T25 can scarish off of that tree. It wasn't a fan or a dagger in the back pocket. It was charging up too slow. Now it's not a 3-way scrap. It's very much a 4-way. And Mike is going to be keeping himself onto those sidelines just the way we've seen previously. I'm not sure if he has a ranged weapon to be able to swap. It looks like he's just got to keep up the pace with those nunchucks. Goes for the charge into the parry. Fishing for that focus that T25 was potentially looking to throw an out to clank against it. But unfortunately, the Syra, because of the pressure coming through from the 3 other players surrounding, has had to already burn out that V1. Cancels it early. Manages to get that stagger onto Frostivus before he does so. But he still has to deal with Mike closing up the distance and getting confident. He wants this elimination. He's more than happy for these players to swarm in because that means he's going to get further damage reduction off of the F1. And T25 gets parried. JL's AS gets to turn it onto the Syra and will be able to take up that elimination as well as the Soul Bloom. That's the ultimate too, if he can find that opening. But Mike, with that Tiger Pounce off of the Akos V2, is going to be the predator that the Syra has to keep an eye out for. There's the V1 investment. Mike gets stun dazzled before he can use the Tiger Pounce. The F1 comes out into the ultimate catch. Can he find the pounce? He's looking for it as JL's AS puts a tree between himself and the Tiger to make sure that the catch doesn't connect.
Mike still trying to stay up, calls into B2, has a little bit of health. AS drops very, very low now that the ultimate is gone. He's going to use these trees as terrain to try to stay up here in the situation. But Mike, with no ult online, it looks like Frostivus might be picking AS out of the bunch with that Calmer armor swap coming to play here for OUG's Mike. We do have him still running for his life. Frostivus wants to try to snag up this elimination as well. And I mean, this is just the difference between Mike and everybody else on Alkos, right? Just Mike has every answer to everything, but not right now. Frostivus eating up a lot of damage here. Again, putting up a lot of damage onto Mike. Mike drops all the way to half HP once again with the blue fan in hand this time around. Overholds the LMB focus, gets the damage off the first one. Now the 1-2, Frostivus catches the R&B into the 1-2 spam, into the aerial LMB. Mike does fall, but he does end up with 2 eliminations on the board, 27.8 overall points for this game. But I mean, what a run there from Mike, right? In the beginning of the game, just straight aggression, non-stop, winning pretty much every fight. The Syra ultimate just drags it up a little bit too long for him to snag out the elimination. But I mean, just compared to everybody else, his early game was just super strong here.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the conditioning coming through too. He committed the LMB fan throw, and then Frostivus got hit by it the first time. And then when he saw the fan getting charged up for that potential LMB the second time, he crouches and Mike cancels and looks for that potential opening. He almost was able to turn that fight off with the back of it too. But Frostivus will be able to take the elimination down. TW5 with the Hallies and those RMBs connects onto Wufong. So both of these players backing on off, just going for a little bit of heal back up onto those purple epic armors. Spider now trying to take Verse out of the mix. Comes on through with those fist blades, looking to potentially come in through with those LMB connections. The Verse does have that Yang pass. It doesn't matter if he burns his ultimate, he will get it back regardless. The Temi, though, he's gonna invest big time. He goes for his ultimate to lock the area down entirely. The Wisp does not connect onto Verse. One dash has been invested. Verse is able to come on through with the 2-1-1 swap into the Hong Sword, but Spider has the spacing and will be able to back on off before the charged R&B can connect onto him.
Wow. Verse, though. Still trying to set up Spider. Trying to contest his Roman Yang just to stay off now. He was like, you don't have to pass. Verse is like, I know, but I still kind of want to get in. Will you let me in? Nope. Spider. Being the gatekeeper here for Verse. He is be able to just wait this out to enter this Roman Yang. Edward and PXT are going to be going at it in the first Roman Yang of game number 6. We got blue weapons here for PXT on the Xiaoyu. Edward trying to find an opening for himself on the Liam. The 1-2. F called him very early here from the Xiaoyu. This is the opening Edward needs, but the ultimate is still up here for PXT. Waiting for the perfect opportunity. I believe he does not have Nunchuck meter burn currently so far. The army focus connects there for Edward. Since the Wind Gust doesn't get the damage this time around. Since for the second time around, the damage, the parry connects, but the damage does not. Edward has to stay safe. LB focus connects as well. Now the Liam ultimate invested into the 1-2. Xiaoyu ultimate invested here for PXT. He can't catch off the V2, I believe. Looking for the perfect opportunity. There goes the second shield. PXT now. Shots very, very low. The third clink into the third shield. There it is. The last shield that he has. Into the shield throw. Into the V2.
Oh, no.
Stop any of that damage. That doesn't do no damage. Oh my god. That was perfect timing there for that V2 to connect.
Oh, the headlock came in as the auric grab went out. And unfortunately, the shield got the CC, but wasn't able to do anything about it. Now it's going to be Frostivus going head-to-head. The Vada with that V2 has so much overhealth to be able to survive this auric grab that Lipo is going to set up. He manages to get one Vitality off the back of it. Throws Frostivus airborne so he can potentially set up another reset opportunity, but Frostivus with the spear is able to come on through with the charged R&B from that fan into the 1-2, and that is Frostivus with the Volta V2 able to see the win against the Liam, and now Spider has to try and head against a Lani inside a realm of Yang, a Lani who's using V2, so Spider is not out of the woods even if he stays mobile.
Yeah, with no online and without having the health advantage here, it's been very rough here for Spider, but if anybody can do it, it's Spider. Lani still trying to get active, 8 seconds and counting. He needs a miracle right now. Overhold, sends back the R&B focus, avoid getting parried. Both players parried this time around. The probably goes towards Wufang's way, and it's looking like a timeout. So both of these players are going to be having that Yang depletion timer on their back. We do have 2 wins already there for BBE and OA, so only 2 players are going to have that Yang depletion timer from that round. PXC is going to wait this out. Oh, I'm sorry, PXC is going to have it. We have 4 players. Star as well, or Wufang, sorry. Wufang as well is going to have the Yang depletion timer. Xiaoyu here for PXC. Trying to see if he can find anybody. Not sure where everybody's scattered to towards the end. Oh, here we go. We have some sort of congestion of players. We have Lipo, Edward, and Spider all in this area. Now, Lipo with 3 minutes and 17 seconds and counting. Edward, the gold staff with full effect here with Vermilion's Burst Might, has everything he needs to try to get active here. Frostivus in the back end as well. You have both Yang winners on your trail. If you're Lipo, this is not the situation you want to be in. The raw uppercut connects as well. Liam ultimate investor here for Lipo. Casts the V2 onto Edward, but Frostivus can still apply the pressure. Wufang in the back end as well. Sends back that player, and he is going to fall for that. Wufang is second elimination now to Lipo.
And Edward gets the grab onto a low HP Frostivus, who does have that Volta V2 to call in on to survive the aftermath. Spear gets sent out, won't be able to find his connection. Edward had to burn that Liam V2 as well, so he's going to be put under pressure too. The Frostivus is about to run out of armor, out of overhealth, and out of life. Vermilion Birdsmite is going to keep himself in this lobby, but he's going to lose the opportunity to find some of these eliminations. Edward finds a huge parry onto AS, who threw out that charged vertical on that fan directly into his back. Spider will be able to pick up the elimination, and this is what we saw when we had the Holoroth game, which are at timeout inside one of those Realm of Yanks. It sparked so much aggression in the lobby that we were reduced to 6 players before we saw that Spirit Wall contest come on through, and the same might be repeated right here, right now, C8. His Spider is on the run, but he's falling lower and lower. The Fist Blade's not the greatest weapon to be able to scale rush your way out of these engagements. He's trying to find verticality, but his HP bar is falling lower and lower and lower. He just has to invest the Temi ultimate and not even keep himself in the middle of it. He has to go to the outsides, which puts himself right into the path of Ti's Wufong. And now he is quite literally caught between a rock and a hard place. He wasn't able to utilize his ultimate for any of the reset window he'd been seeking for, and he just has to try and keep himself moving for as long as possible.
That's just super unfortunate for Spider. Vesses the Tumult ultimate, doesn't get the chance to even pop one powder in to try to get some health back. And I mean, once that semi-ultimate is gone, even if you have an F on cooldown, it's just a matter of time. As we saw there, we saw a downrange bow shot there to snag an elimination there onto Spider. Mike just playing the Realm Yang here. You do see him with 2 eliminations on the board. Wufong with a pop-off game this time around with 4 currently here. Moving on into this mid-game. He is in 4th place this time around on Delani as well as Star. Frostivus has had a really good game 6 as well with 3 eliminations currently for this game. So, I mean, these players now with game number 6, I usually see this as a full W key game. These players, especially in their spring split games or just in their regular weekly games, they like to just full W key in, but we do have differences of who's the one that has the most pop-off games for the game 6. I mean, obviously in bi-weekly finals, game 6 is our make or break it for a lot of players, especially with how many points they have or whoever's in the threshold. But right now, Wufong just waiting out for this round. His purple dagger in hand. Mike, first one in against PXT. PXT with blue armor as well as Mike. So the armor rarity is going to be even between both of these players, but the purple longsword might have a little bit more damage output here for Mike, but he does have that potential to get that carousel extension as we saw earlier.
Yeah, F1 comes out early. He's looking for it. Combo breaker potentially going to be forced from the shield early too. The vertical connects with the charged RMB. Again, just mincing through that armor that is available to PXT as Mike just weaves in and out of these fights. Commits the RMB yet again, and this time PXT is ready for it. The parry comes on through. The ultimate's going to be forced from both of these sides, and now it becomes a matter of dodging out of the follow-up from both. Mike finds the grab onto PXT. Has to try and keep himself moving, though. Does not want to try and stagger the shield again and come under the crosshairs of that headlock potential. He's going to be able to utilize his ultimate, kites around that trail V1. If we go back into that reset, he's been able to get put into the headlock, but he spaces the pillar between himself and the shield perfectly, so there's no follow-up. But now he's caught up into the air, and the nunchucks take him down. Wolves PXT finds the win against the Apex Predator. A star on this. Lani operates that V2 and puts the pressure onto Edward. Will this Liam prove to be the S-tier pick, or has Lani been able to keep this hero on their toes?
Now, the bounce back does connect off of this. He does have one more charge left and could have the potential to extend off of this ultimate still. The V2 though connects there for Edward. He is able to get the damage off of this, plus the powder into the follow-up R&B focus, into the jump LB for the extra damage. Now the F called in here for Star. Now F is on cooldown for the Lonnie. Overholds the R&B focus. Gets the damage there on the jump there from Edward ×2 as well. Now the health getting very, very close between both of these players, but Edward with the weapon rarity advantage, that gold staff just does so much damage. Swap on over to the purple hung sword this time around. R&B, jump LB for the extra damage and the finisher there. And Edward coming on top here for game number 6 in this Realm Yang. And what, I mean, Wufong with a backwards uppercut parry against Mike. That was disgusting there in that Realm Yang. And now Mike was just super surprised to see that. He is going to have that Yang depletion timer on his back. 4 minutes and 18 seconds and counting. No ozone popped here for Verse, but Mike needs to full throttle in to try to see he can cleanse out this Yang depletion timer. Verse is not going to make this easy though on the Justina. He does not have ult online. Mike does. He can just continue applying the pressure until the zone comes off. The 1-2 off the longsword, jump a little bit for the extra damage. F1 called in. We do have another player showing up. It's going to be Frostivus. I believe Wufong's in the back end as well. We have the cannon shots flying on in. And I feel like we haven't really seen a lot of the pressure from the cannons today as we usually see. But now we do from Wufong. R&B focus connects there for Mike. And the backside Verse not trying to respond. The follow-up LB connects. Now F calling for the Justina. He needs to be real careful in that doorway. There's going to be a lot of fire damage coming through there from Wufong. Another player showing up. Frostivus once again in the corner. Mike gets taken out there from Verse. And it's just a congestion of players in this high. Everybody's sending the blues out. No one's parrying. Pulsar connects to scare us from PXT. Star drops very low. He does manage to scatter on out. And now that eliminations came into play, everybody's starting to back on out.
Oh my goodness, PXT comes on through with a legendary pulse on Scale's Garage, and then just full commits the RM because he can turn it onto every single player in that room. Star Knight turns his attention, comes on through with that Lonnie V2, starts getting that trick ball rolling, keeping up the pressure onto everyone around him as he falls lower and lower and lower. The more players he can connect onto, the more HP he's going to be able to start resustaining back, and sustaining health when you're on the move is the absolute name of the game right now. Star wants to be able to survive the attention coming his way, but the ultimate is done, and he's still at the wrong end of Edward coming in through with that legendary staff, and I believe that was also the animation for Stanchion Sky Pillar that we got to see a couple of seconds of before we headed on over to a different POV, so keep your eye on that one. That silence effect is definitely going to be coming on through, playing havoc with a lot of these heroes who rely on the combo breaks to avoid getting hit into those TODs.
Yeah, I just remember how strong, you even mentioned it earlier, how strong Aurora Burst was, right? Like, if you get caught up by Aurora Burst back then, it was just no escape. I mean, it felt like you just got Viper after, right? Like, you're just stuck there eating up all that damage, and we would see, like, a constant thing where players would see a fight happening, and the third party would just be whoever had Aurora Burst coming down from just downtown, up from the sky, just dropped out Aurora Burst.
The MVPL equivalent of the metal chair from Top Ropes.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think how strong that Jay was. But now things are different. Edward, though, not different with Wufong. Both players with 4 eliminations on the board here for game number 6. Coming online, Wufong and Edward as well, staying consistent there on that second place with 24 points for his overall score of the day. Arano with 1, Frostivus with 3 in that 7th place spot, and PXC with 1. And PXC is the one that's kind of caught me off surprise because, I mean, he's been a very strong player throughout the league since he joined. But now, it is day 1. He still has a lot of time to adjust, especially just being the first day. He can just go back to the VOD and see his mistakes as well. So that's always a good thing to do for these pro players. Arano and AS is going to go ahead and get the tuna up. He is going to have that Jade. We know how strong the tuna can be. If you can keep recharging it up to continue to get that siphon health if you do get in a fight. But now a random band starting to form on up. We do have White Tiger's powers. That's going to be the Spirit World contestant for this game.
Edward moving into position immediately. We know he has Stanchion Sky Pillar. So if any player tries to get close to him, there it is. They are going to get hit by that silence effect. He's showing it immediately, just to make sure that everyone understands the threat that he is going to be posing. Frostivus is on that Volder, and we saw earlier, just the threat of that V2 from the Volder was more than enough to try and chase away those players from trying to contest the Spirit Well. Is the same thing going to occur? Because Frostivus is the only Volder in this lobby. He's currently sitting on 3 eliminations. He's not leading. If he comes through with a couple of more, he may well be able to walk away with an MVP for the last game of the day. As Arano just plays around the outer edges of that fight, doesn't really want to full commit, just wants to feel out what everyone is going to be running. So this is the opportunity that everyone showcases that win condition with. Stanchion Sky Pillar is going to be revealed by 1 player, as is Venom Tip and Boss from the repeating crossbow. And Edward might have the silence effect, but the lobby is the one that silences his impact. He gets sent immediately into a disengagement off of all of the damage that he took, trying to keep up that aggressive positioning with that prior opportunity for that Spirit Well. And now he's going to be locked into a 1 versus 1 against the Syra. AS knows that silence effect is going to potentially be in play, and he's more than happy to just utilize the knockback effect on these Scarif connections to send this Liam into that zone, forcing Edward into burning every single bit of utility. The combo breaker of the F1, the V2, everything, and the kitchen sink, and every single grapple that Edward has available to his name right now is being utilized to make sure that this Liam survives that 1 versus 1. And in the meantime, PXT with the absolute heist walks with a White Tiger's purse for free.
just He just gets the free brink robbery right there. Coming out on the top there with the White Tiger's prowess. It's going to be able to apply some pressure there onto whoever's around him if he needs to. We see him probably spotting Edward here. Frostivus, though, drops very low into the 1-2 finisher there from Wufong from the dual blades. And Frostivus is going to fall here for game number 6 with 3 on the board. Still a very good game played out here for Frostivus, being able to secure 3 eliminations. Mike was already eliminated with 2. Wufong, though, stacking up those skills with 5 this time around. Edward does manage to stay alive here on the Liam, 26% on that range, so still has a long way to try to get that ult back online. And our random Bane is going to take up the majority of the zone until 1 minute where the zone starts spreading. Arano on T225 just waiting this out. AES in the middle of that. Arano eating up the damage there from the movement. Don't believe anybody saw it. T225 just chilling in the bush, does not want to apply the pressure, but Edward sees it, quickly jumps right down, hits him with the LMB focus there onto Arano, and Arano's going to be forced to try to scatter out from the situation. He does see a little open here on the left hand side. He can play the outer ring of the zone, and we see him already positioning for that next zone spread as we saw him in there on the mini map. PXC, though, on the Shayo still has that White Tiger's power. 83 seconds remaining there for that buff. Now Edward and Arano to go ahead and play a little bit closer here on the bottom side of the map. PXC, though, the main aggressor, with a nice ship pair there onto the Syra. Looks like the F is going to be called in. The cooldown now starts there for the Syra. Wufong on the top side tries to see he can find some sorts of damage onto AS. I believe AS cuts noise in the back end. They do not spot him there in the backside.
Yeah, he's not in the purple bush.
Yeah.
The T225 is. T225 has to reveal himself. Comes them through with that stab hit onto PXT. Arano, too, is still under pressure, potentially from this fight with Edward that is looming on the outskirts. However, because he was pressured early, he did not have to burn his ultimate, so it's not the worst situation that it could currently be for Arano. That, unfortunately, is Edward's position right now. This Liam does not have that V2 available, but nobody knows. Everyone was trying to play reaction to PXE, claiming that Spirit Wall and coming in through with 2 Sheol V1s, that everyone sort of turned their attention away from that Liam. So he's given a second lease of life off of the back of that. Wufong going incredibly low. PXE trying to find his opening with that Sheol F1, as we can see Arano yet again rocking the bow setup, looking to see if he can incite a fight before everyone turns onto that Justina. He wants to be able to hold on to his ultimate for as long as possible, and it now becomes hero selection. Who do you want to make it to that end game? Wufong is unfortunately one of those players that you do not want to see make it through, especially since we saw the masterclass of that Lani V2, the impact that it can have when all of these players are clumped up in one certain spot, but the same applies to the Syra. The more players that are stacked up, the more value that Syra gets from the stun dazzle spam into the V1 laser beam follow through. And AS with that tuna is going to be able to heal on the move, both from abilities and from the Soul Jade. There's Edward with the cannon. I'm sure Flames Breath is attached to that one too, with that Rupture Gale attached to that Soul Jade on top of it, the cherry on the mix to make sure that some of these Cyrus get pressured out and have to potentially burn some of that utility. T225 falls incredibly low. That was pretty much a lot of armor. And his health bar burned on off. Arano has got to be set up with either max attack or the bow Soul Jade setup, because oh my goodness, the damage that he just found off of those shots onto T225 was crazy.
Oh my god, that was a clean shot. That was a clean shot there from Arano. I saw him still have full white health. That's what I saw before that shot connected. So he just one shot headshot tapped him there. Beautiful showcasing there with it. Oh my god, that was disgusting there from Arano. Nice shot there through the window. Player's gonna fall. And now the zone looking like it's gonna end right on the edge of this terrain, I believe. So there's gonna be a little bit of layers going into this end circle. We still have 5 players remaining, and I mean, I'm surprised. I thought this was gonna be a full W key session and not really an end game, but every single game we have those end games. These players have been showing straight consistency throughout the whole night. AS drops very low here, though. Is going to be forced to pop the Syra ultimate. He looks like he's going to apply the pressure onto PXC, and that's going to be a Shayo for this for his opponent right now. The damage connects off the first beam. Still applying lots of pressure there with the beam damage now. Now, Shoyo ultimate is going to be invested. This could be bad here for PXC. It's just super unfortunate that he was picked out of everybody here by AS. The Syra ultimate is gone, but the damage is done, and Edward snacks up another one, and that's going to be his 5th one tying up here with Wufang.
Yeah, AS turns the attention onto the Shayol, and PXC gets taken down, and AS is given an opportunity. They still have to watch out, though, for these bow shots coming in through from Arano. You can see him posted up at the top of that rooftop, entirely uncontested. Everyone currently is dancing to the tempo that Arano is set. There's one bit of cover from the bow damage, and it's the tree that currently the rest of these 3 players are fighting over. And because they're all trying to fight over that spacing, they're knocking each other into all of this follow-up damage. Stanchion Sky Pillar, that's where it ended on up for Edward. Comes on out, that silence, unfortunately not allowing the Syra access to a lot of that healing kit as AS looks for the drop down into the vertical slam down off of that charged RMB. This is onto the treetop, will be able to do it again. Doesn't find the connection that he's looking for. He needs one elimination to get a soul bloom and start to heal back. But now that the zone's closed on up, that Lanny V2 is going to come into play, and that trick ball is going to catch on to every single player underneath. The Liam tries to find the elimination. Edward with the V2 will be able to find one, make that a 3rd, and that might be Edward walking away with the MVP, but Arano with the bow shots manages to take Edward down before he can claim that kill score multiplier, and in the end, I think it's really going to come down to that difference. But no, Edward's still able to MVP despite it.